Okay, I think we are ready. Mattia gives me a green light. No? Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the first General Assembly ever of Erasmus Student Network. As you all know, due to the pandemic, it wasn't possible to have this assembly physically. But even if it's online, I hope you're all ready and excited for the most important event of the year. Without further ado, I leave the floor to our president, Kostis Giannidis, for his opening speech.
Thank you, Vittorio. Good morning, everyone. Before I begin, can you confirm that you can hear me well? Perfect. Okay, good. So, good morning again. It is my pleasure to open the first ever General Assembly on behalf of the board. Indeed, unfortunately, the circumstances once again do not allow us to meet physically. I'm sure that all of us will have preferred to be in Vilnius today and meet each other physically. But we are very confident that during these 3 days, we will have an amazing event with very fruitful discussions, thanks to the moderation of a very experienced chairing team, and of course, thanks to your active contribution. The General Assembly, as you know, is the highest decision-making body of our organization. In this event, you will be asked to share your opinion, to discuss, to debate, and of course, to vote on very important matters which will define the future of our network. We will discuss, for example, whether if we want to see ESN growing beyond Europe and offering self-development opportunities to more international students. We will adapt a budget perfectly adjusted to meet the needs of a post-pandemic period and help us get back on our feet. We will also have the first consultations on the new action plan, which is the last under the 3-year plan that we have adopted in the last AGM in Thessaloniki. Remember that you are here today because your sections have trusted you to represent them and speak on their behalf. Therefore, all of us must take this event very seriously and be ready to contribute for the future of our organization. We know that the online format is not ideal, but it is the best we can do under these circumstances. We are aware that the pandemic have caused many challenges to our network, but we must make sure that ESN will continue operating. The fact that we are having a General Assembly today, even online, it means that ESN is healthy and sustainable, and we are committed to continue supporting international students and enriching the society. During these challenging times, ESN, and especially the foundation of our organization, which is our local volunteers and our sections, have shown to the world how important we are. I can reassure you that the effort we have done in the past months has not passed unnoticed. Everyone speaks about ESN, not only in Brussels, but across Europe and beyond. The visibility of our network has been increased tremendously because of the amazing contribution of all of you in the local and national level, and everything that we have been doing in the past periods. Today, we have also the pleasure to have a video message from the Vice President of the European Commission, which actually is praising the work that you are doing. And this is something that shows how much high-level decision makers appreciate the effort that ESN is doing. I don't want to take much more of your time. So without further ado, I'm very happy on behalf of the board to hereby open the first online General Assembly under the new structure of ESN. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kostis. And now I please Mattia to show us the very important video Kostis just mentioned.
Involve all those for whom Dear members of the Erasmus Student Network, I'm very pleased to address today the Erasmus generation that you all embody. Erasmus is Europe's most emblematic program, the jewel in our crown. But it is also much more than that. By being who you are and doing what you do together, and for the next Erasmus generation, you bring to life the essence of our European way of life. Unity in diversity, solidarity, support for Europe as an area of peace, freedom, and prosperity. Since its creation back in 1989, just 2 years after the Erasmus program was established, the Erasmus Student Network had been promoting precisely these values. I strongly commend your volunteering work as a bridge between the Erasmus generations and the European institutions through your continuous and fruitful cooperation. I would also like to salute particularly the work and leadership of your current president, my compatriot Kostis Giannidis, the first ever Greek to make it to the presidency of ESN. Dear friends, the disruptions caused by the pandemic have impacted every aspect of our lives, and the current Erasmus generation is no exception. In overcoming the current challenges, we here at the Commission share many of its views on the future of Erasmus Plus with the Erasmus Student Network. Your commitment to enhancing social inclusion and digitalization, promoting active citizenship and environment friendliness is exemplary of our shared vision for the future of Europe. Our recent communication on the European education area sets out the concrete steps towards this vision. It aims to involve all those for whom education matters and calls to join forces and rejuvenate together the power of education to shape a sustainable and generous world. Citizens' active participation, perfectly highlighted by your engagement in this consultation on European education area, is key to unleashing our full potential in education. Your contribution is vital in building our shared European identity, and your work in projects such as the Erasmus Plus mobile app and the Erasmus Intern project have strongly promoted the mobility of students and their opportunities. Under Erasmus Plus, we want precisely to enhance the role of Erasmus alumni by focusing on promoting European values and volunteering. Your network, with its 40,000 members, certainly has a central stage role to play. The historic turnout during the last European election was a pivotal step for us in this right direction. As your European survey of more than 20,000 Erasmus students showed, mobility can indeed prod young people towards active citizenship beyond the borders of their home country. And we must not stop there. In this context, through the forthcoming conference on the future of Europe, we will aim to ensure that our democracies become more representative, more resilient, stronger. It will be an exercise of pan-European and resolutely bottom-up exchanges among citizens, and it is vitally important that you and your network proactively engage. The Erasmus Student Network, with its national organizations and hundreds of local sections, represents a multitude of youth and student experiences, realities, and views. And through this richness, your network can and will certainly make a very valuable contribution to the conference across Europe. Dear friends, on this note, I wish you a fruitful debate today. I very much thank you for inviting me to address you, and I want you to know that I personally stand ready to closely engage with the network and its members in our shared endeavor to empower the youth in this post-pandemic world which is dawning. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. I think we are all very glad to receive such a message from the Vice President of the European Commission. Without further ado, we now move to the JCT introduction and rules of the game. Okay. First of all, this is the amazing sharing team that I have the honor to coordinate for 2020-2021. I'm Vittorio, but everybody calls me Vito. I was the president of ESN Italy for 2 years until April, basically. Member of the structural task force who elaborated the ESN review, which was approved by AGM Thessaloniki. And I just mentioned the SWEP Milano 2017, I'm very proud of. I joined ESN 6 years ago, so yes, I'm one of the oldest in this call, and everything started with an amazing Erasmus in Barcelona. I will now ask my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Okay, I can go first. Hi guys, I'm Laurie. You might still know me from previously because I was the national representative of ESN in the Netherlands for 2 years. I before then was ND and secretary in Maastricht, which is an amazing city. So if you ever have the time after the pandemic, for sure go ahead and visit. I joined ESN in 2016, January 2016, so almost 6 years for me as well. And for me, it all started before my Erasmus, but I went to Oslo, so that was great as well. Stamatia, take it away.
Okay, sorry, I'm handling some things at the same time. Hi, I'm Stamatia. I'm from ESN Greece. I'm the GA secretary. I have been the president and the web mistress of my local section, ESN WOPA. Last year, I was the web project administrator of ESN Greece. I also was the interim senior secretary for Marmara. I joined ESN before I went on Erasmus, and it was the reason that I decided to go on Erasmus to the amazing city of Budapest in Hungary.
Perfect. And then we move to the rules of the game. So please be very careful. I'll try to be quick, but there are a lot of important instructions that you need to be aware of. First of all, log in via the desktop app and make sure to have the latest version. If you still haven't updated your Zoom app, please do it during the quorum check, during the coffee break, because otherwise you will not be able to join, for example, the small session. So make sure to update your Zoom app, rename yourself as ESN country, and then your full name, or ESN body, and then your full name. This is very important for us to check the list of participants. Keep your microphone off unless I give you the word. You can choose to keep your camera on or off as you prefer. We would like to see some faces if the system is stable enough, but if you prefer to keep it off, it's also fine. Just make sure to open it when you're speaking and when you're voting, so during the roll calls, for example. Then use the reaction of at the bottom of the page to express your feelings. For example, instead of the common gesture we are used to applause, let's use the one at the bottom. the public chat is now disabled. You can text to the chairing team and especially to Samathia if you have technical problems or any other issue. It will be possible to interact with the others in the public chat during the small sessions instead. Whenever you want to raise the attention to speak, or whenever I ask you to express your opinion in this way, use the raise hand button that you find at the right of the screen in the participants tab. At the end of the points for which is foreseen a question round, I open the speakers list. The CT is responsible for respecting the timing, and I can impose limits on speaking time if we are late. The GHR has the ability to give the right to speak to the participants, to cut the discussions if it's needed, and to ask for complementary information if it can help the discussion. Any participant can speak by asking the CT to be added to the speakers list, which I will explain you in a bit how. Samathia. No, but it's not one page, it's two Zoom.
Can you go to the slide that you want?
No, but it's not correct, the ratio of the presentation. Not one slide. Okay. So once I give you the right to speak, turn on your microphone and camera, and please starting by say your name and position. If a person is named during a discussion, they have the right to react. This right suspends the speakers list. Please make sure that it's an actual reaction and not use it for avoiding the queue. Don't repeat points that were already mentioned. Instead, if someone covered your argument, just say covered by. The CT or anybody can propose to close the speakers list. If no objections are raised, the speakers list is closed. If there are objections, a vote will be taken. How to be asked to be added to the speakers list? This is very important. So the general modality we will use is the raise hand button to be added to the speakers list, and the green tick to react. You find both of them at the right of the page in the participants tab. This is why it's very important to use these options and these symbols only for the speakers list, and the other reactions, they are at the bottom of the page to actually share your feelings during the assembly. In case you want to propose any procedural question, write to me personally, because this has the priority over everything else. In case this system will not work or will have a long speakers list, we also just make you aware of a second modality, very easy. If we go for the second mode, you have to write directly to Samathia, so in the chat to the secretary, writing speakers list, reaction, or procedural. She will create a file and we will proceed with the speakers list in the normal way or usual way, let's say. Small sessions. During the small session rounds, you will have to choose which breakout room to join. It will automatically show a pop-up and you will have to join to choose which room to join. They will be named with the name of the small session. After 1 hour, you will be automatically redirected to the plenary room. So there's nothing you have to do. You will receive a message over the last 60 seconds, and after that, you will automatically come back to the main session. Roll call. At the beginning of each session, so every morning and every afternoon, we will have a quorum check, and also before the voting rounds. Please turn on your microphone and your camera when answering to a quorum check or a roll call. I remind you that the quorum needed is more than 50% of the members of the assembly. We are going to approve soon the agenda. We're going to approve soon the agenda. Everybody can always propose a change to the agenda. The change has to be approved by the General Assembly. It's a procedural question, so anytime you want to propose a change to the agenda or the CT propose a change to the agenda has to be approved. As you can see, the agenda is a bit different from the past. So on the left side, there are two columns, one with the foreseen beginning of a point, the foreseen timing, and one with the real live timing. Make sure to check the real live timing. On the right side, there is the time assigned for the presentation, question round, and the vote. The CT is responsible for respecting the timing. So once again, I'm not the bad guy, but it's our role to make sure we respect the timing. On Sunday morning, there will be two different rounds of voting. We will vote through election runner for those kind of voting. So you will receive an email with a link to the vote for every round. The vote of today will be quick and immediate, whereas on Sunday you will vote through election runner. The email you indicate in the vote delegation form will receive a link to vote. In the last tab of the agenda file, you will have already all the voting questions. So we're not gonna repeat the voting questions during the assembly. You have been seeing them there for a long time. Mind that different majorities needed for the different topics. Simple majority means that the option with more votes wins. Absolute majority, the option with more than 50% of the votes wins. Two-thirds absolute majority, as the name says, the option with more than 66.67% of the votes wins. I think it's all. Thank you very much. And I think we can proceed with a quorum check. I just need to choose a random number. I mean, not to choose, to get a random number. 14, which is yes in France. So we will start all the votings and the quorum checks from yes in France, and then moving on in alphabetical order. Mr. Mattia, can you share the presentation for the quorum check? Since we wanted to make this a bit more interactive, oh, I love to see your faces. Good morning, everyone. Are you ready? Yes, okay, you're awake at least. I don't see anyone in the bed, which is positive. Okay, as I was saying, the first quorum check will be a bit different since we didn't have the chance to meet physically. So we still want you to get to know each other and be a bit interactive. So this first quorum check will work like this. I will call out the yes and country. The person with the delegated vote will answer, introducing himself and the other participants from your NO. So just shake your hands, move some, make some noise just to know who is coming from that country. And then you have to tell a fun fact about your country, being your actual country or your national organization, but a fun fact. The audience will have to react to the fun fact told using the reactions. The best fun according to the audience wins. You have around 30 seconds each, so you better start thinking about your fun fact to win this challenge. As soon as Mattia tells me that we are ready, I will start. We can start? Great. Yes, in France.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be with you. So my name is Sébastien. I'm president of ESN France, and I came today with Nathan, our NR, and Davia, our treasurer. So yeah, really happy to be with you and can't wait to see this General Assembly.
Fun fact about ESN France.
And we plan to eat a lot of cheese during this General Assembly. Fun fact.
Great. Thank you very much. ESN Georgia.
I wasn't waiting that much quick. So hello, Salome, I'm representing ESN Georgia. Can you hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I will be here with my president, Nini, who will join tomorrow, the session. And the fun fact, I was just thinking about a fun fact, and I don't know, we're just one section in Georgia, and it's a fun fact. So we're trying to be very active. And I don't know, this is not fun fact, this is just the message. So I'm looking for a great meeting. Hello, everyone, and hugs. Love.
Thank you very much. ESN Germany.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pedro. I'm the president of ESN Germany. I'm here with Luis, our treasurer. And sadly, our NR, Jana, she wanted to participate today, but she had a blog seminar. So she will attend tomorrow and Sunday. So maybe she can say hello then. Fun fact about ESN Germany. Well, this is actually very funny. We found out there's a juice of sauerkraut, which is very disgusting, but just being out there. And there is even a schnapps, or like a fun liquor from sauerkraut. And yeah, I didn't know it was possible, but it seems there's no limits to humanity's chaos.
Thank you, Pedro. ESN Greece.
Good morning. Glad to be here. I'm Emanuela Paravallou, the national president of ESN Greece, and we have also Lemonia Moraiti, who is the communication manager, and Alkistis Athanassopoulou, who is the member of ESN Ioannina. For the fun fact, it is easier to inform our members through ESN Greece memes Facebook group than the official forum.
I love that. Thank you very much. ESN Hungary.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Mátyás. I'm the president of ESN Hungary. I'm here with Norbi, the education officer, and Anna, our national representative. A fun fact about our country, well, I asked around and they said I should say that we put paprika in everything. So that's a fun fact. And that's it.
Thank you. ESN Iceland is not present. ESN Ireland.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark. I'm the national president for ESN Ireland, and we also have the vice president attending. A fun fact about our country is that more Irish people live outside of Ireland than in Ireland. So yeah.
Thank you. ESN Italy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Giovanni, the president of ESN Italy. With me today, we have Matteo Carbone, that you all know is the current NR of ESN Italy, and Egi Vanai, that is the communication manager. Fun fact about my country, there's people ringing at my door at the moment while I'm supposed to speak. It's a normal Friday morning.
Thank you. ESN Latvia is not present. ESN Liechtenstein is not present. ESN Lithuania.
Hey, my name is Lucas. I'm the currently treasurer of ESN Lithuania, and sadly today president is not able to join as she's working, and the national representative Vygantas, he's also not able to join us. Also, he's working, and yeah. So fun fact about our country is that we have the most hot air balloons per capita in the world. So if you want to fly over the city of Vilnius, you can do that. Oh, yeah, that's it.
These are the fun facts that I like. Thank you, Lucas. ESN Luxembourg.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alessio, the president of ESN Luxembourg, and tomorrow also the vice president will join. A fun fact about Luxembourg is that on average, Luxembourg nationals speak 4.3 languages. That's it.
Impressive. Thank you. ESN Malta.
Hello. Hi. Good morning. ESN Malta, Luke here, national president. I'm alone for now. I'm currently in my sister's room because we're having Wi-Fi problems today. And the fun fact about Malta is that our sister island Gozo is in Greek mythology. It is the island of Calypso, where Calypso kept Odysseus from the Homer's legends.
Thank you very much for this moment of culture. ESN Moldova.
Hi from ESN Moldova. I'm Beatriz, the president of ESN Chisinau, and I will represent Moldova for these 3 days. In Moldova, we are also only one section, but we are very ambitious. And as we are an agriculture country, we are cheese and wine lovers.
Thank you very much. ESN the Netherlands.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Imke, and I'm the president of ESN the Netherlands. And I'm here with Eileen, our network manager, and Rick, and he's our education officer, and the rest of the board is probably watching. And our fun fact is that in the Netherlands, we actually have the only section that has their own bar, which you can all actually visit once COVID is over. So happy to see you guys there.
Let's meet all there. ESN Norway.
Yes, hello. I am Lisa from ESN Norway. With me, I have me. The rest of the board will join for the live stream maybe later. Fun fact about Norway is Norway. We have recently reacquired the northernmost section in the network.
Amazing. Thank you very much. ESN Poland.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paula Plaskota, and I'm the president of ESN Poland. Today with me it's Janusz Mączka, who is our national representative. My fun fact is that using the grant from the far-right government, we're doing activities connected with the sex education, which is by the mentioned government banned from schools now. So don't be surprised if we will end up in jail by the end of our mandate.
Thank you very much. ESN Portugal.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leonora Alcacereño. I am the national representative of ESN Portugal. Right now I'm alone, but this afternoon Anna, our president, will be joining me. Fun facts about our board, maybe that we are on almost all girls national board.
Thank you. ESN Romania.
Hello, guys. Hi. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. I'm Alex, president of ESN Romania. Together with me in this call is Raluca, Secretary General and former NR of ESN Romania. I guess a fun fact about Romania, and something simple that everybody knows, it's that it's the land of Dracula. So you have to come here and see Dracula's castle at least once in your lifetime.
Thank you very much. ESN Russia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maria. I'm a president of ESN Russia. Today with me, Anna Lina, our vice president, and our NR Evgeny will join us a bit later. And fun fact about our ESN country, that ESN Russia was basically founded twice, in 2002 and again in 2014.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. ESN Serbia.
Hi everyone, my name is Min and I'm a communication manager of ESN Serbia. Here with me are Oleg, who is the president, and Rosana, who is a vice communication manager. Fun fact about our country, actually our language, is that a word vampire is a Serbian origin. So if you think that you're not speaking Serbian, well, you speak.
I will add that to my CV. Thank you very much. ESN Slovenia. Is not present. ESN Spain. Not present. ESN Sweden.
No, we are present, but my audio was not working, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So we are, I'm Claudia, the NR from ESN Spain. I'm here with Nacho. I don't know if you can see him. And Miguel, our president, our brand new president, will join us these days as well. And a fun fact from ESN Spain is that now that Juan Rayon finally left our board, we will be saving a lot of money in food. So hey, raise up for that.
Thank you very much. ESN Sweden. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. After Serbia, did you call Slovakia?
No, sorry. Thank you. I forgot. ESN Slovakia. Thank you so much.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Timotej Hossa. I am the president of ESN Slovakia, and I am here with Maria Vaňová. She's the vice president for external affairs. And fun fact about our country, we have the world's highest number of castles and chateaus per capita, and our language is grammar. It's one of the hardest in the world. So.
Perfect fun fact to use the wow reaction. Now back to ESN Sweden.
Hello, I'm Konstantina. I'm the president of ESN Sweden. With me today, we have Alice, our treasurer, and Alex, our communication manager. A fun fact about Sweden, well, I'm going to get the Italians angry, but we put banana in our pizza sometimes.
I'm not going to comment. ESN Switzerland.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana, president of ESN Switzerland. Today, I'm here with Lucia, our NR, and Valerie, who will join us a bit later, our treasurer. So a fun fact about Switzerland, when it has 4 languages, but 3 main linguistic regions, and we are each from a different region. It's not the best fun fact, but our flag is a big plus.
Thank you. ESN Turkey.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. It's Ayberk here as ESN Turkey president. I have my NR and my vice president today with me, Betül and Salih. Our fun fact is you can change your continent with 3 metro stops in Istanbul, underground.
Amazing. ESN Ukraine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa. I'm from ESN Ukraine. I'm a national president and actually also a local president. Today, I joined with my vice president, also Lisa, and also with national representative Tanya. And actually, I had a lot of time to Google fun fact about Ukraine, and I found out that Ukraine have created the world's largest glass of champagne. Yes, that it was actually entered the Guinness Book of Records. And actually, the second fun fact that officially in Ukraine we have 2 Christmas, Catholic and Orthodox. That's it.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. ESN UK. ESN United Kingdom.
I guess I can do it because I've been with lots. I'm Sophia, so ESN UK treasurer. I'm here with Iona. She's the NR, but I guess, I don't know, she was going to present. She had some problems. And later on, we're gonna get Jacob, our national president, to join. Fun fact about our board is that we basically have no English people in it. We have Scottish, Welsh, no English people. You can see the power of England here. And yeah, this has been a trend for the past few years. So.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Now back to the top. Is in Albania. Not present. Is in Austria.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lucas. He's in Austria. With me, I have Gernot from our audit board and Beatrice, our treasurer. And the fun fact about our country, our capital, Vienna, is voted as the most livable city in the world. But the other time, it's also on place 3 on the unfriendliest city in the world. So we are the most livable and unfriendliest.
Thank you very much. Yes, in Azerbaijan. Yes, in Azerbaijan. Not present. Yes, in Belarus. Not present. Yes, in Belgium.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gwenaël, National President. I'm actually here with Sim, our Education Officer, and tomorrow Isabel, our Project Manager, will be joining as well. A fun fact about Belgium is that we actually have more types of beers than days in the year. So, yeah.
By far my favorite so far. Thank you very much. Yes, in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Yes, in Bosnia. Not present. Yes, in Bulgaria.
Hi, I'm Desislava. I am the national representative of ESN Bulgaria. I will be joined later by our president, Zlotina, and by our previous national representative, Ioana. Fun fact about Bulgaria, you know, when you want to agree with something in other countries, not like this. And in Bulgaria, we do this. And when we want to disagree, we do this. So foreigners find it confusing.
Amazing and mind-blowing at the same time. ESN Croatia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lina, the Communication Manager of ESN Croatia. We also have here our Vice President, Helena, and we will be joined later by our Education Officer, Sanda. And the fun fact about our country is that Croatia has actually the highest number of UNESCO intangible goods of any other European country.
Thank you. Yes, in Cyprus.
Hello, everyone. My name is George, and I'm the president of ESN Cyprus, and I'm here with Anastasia, our vice NR, and later on our NR will join us as well. One fun fact about Cyprus, we estimate that the number of cats are more than the people in the island.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Yes, in Czech Republic.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Adele, President of ESN Czech Republic, and I'm here today with Mishka, our Communication Manager. And well, the fun fact, we have two actually. One is to build on what Timo from Slovakia said, because we actually have the most castles in the whole Europe. And then regarding our network, we also have the highest number of imposters when it comes to Among Us in ESN CZ.
Thank you very much. Yes, in Denmark.
Hello all, my name is Niklas. I'm the president of ESN Denmark. Together with me today, I have my secretary Kata and Katka, my treasurer. Fun fact about Denmark is that Greenland is still not for sales.
Thank you very much. Yes, in Estonia.
Hello, I am Lisbeth. I am the National Events and Projects Manager of Estonia. And fun fact about our country is that we have 10 unofficial capitals. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks to you. Yes, in Finland.
Yes, hello very much, everyone. So my name is Oscar. I'm the network analyst of the ESN CARD team, but I'm here today representing ESN Finland because they couldn't make it this morning. I'm originally from ESN Sweden, but since you already heard from them, I will tell you a fun fact about Finland instead. There are about 3 million saunas in Finland, which means there's about 2 people per sauna, or 1 sauna per 2 people. A lot of them have been placed around interesting places in the world, and most of them just want to have one very close in Finland. I think I saw even one in a McDonald's at one point. So it's fun.
Thank you very much. I just wait for somebody else to check the numbers, but I think we should have a quorum. Yes. 34 members present, 8 absent, so the quorum is reached. We will go on with no. Matthias, sorry, can you show us the slide of the approval of the scrutinizers, please? Okay, thank you very much. So we received 2 amazing applications for scrutinizers, Nacho Santos Broco from ESN Spain and Matteo Carbone from ESN Italy. Are there any objections to approve them as the scrutineers for this General Assembly? If so, please raise your hand. I don't see any objections, so they are approved. Congratulations. And then we proceed with the approval of the language auditors. We received 2 amazing applications also for language auditors to basically translate the SOS proposals from English to the French version of the statute. Nathan from ESN France and Lucia from ESN Switzerland. Are there any objections to approve them as language auditors for this General Assembly? If so, please raise your hand. I don't see any objections, so I think we can consider them approved. Thank you very much to these 4 individuals for their availability. And we proceed with the last vote, which is the approval of the agenda of this General Assembly. You have received it 7 days ago, the detailed one, the provisional one 1 month ago. I'm hereby asking you to approve officially the agenda of the General Assembly. Are there any objections? I don't see any objection. So the agenda is officially approved. Thank you very much, guys, for your cooperation. And we are finally moving to the first presentation of the meeting, which is the board activity report.
So Vittorio, we are waiting for the slide, right? It will come from your end.
Yes.
Okay, good.
In the meantime, I kindly remind you to rename yourself with ESN country and then your full name, or ESN body and then your full name, and to check that you have the latest version of Zoom app in your laptop, or please update during the coffee break because you will need the latest version to join the small session. Okay, Bert, the floor is yours. You have 60 minutes.
Sorry, I just realized that when I ask the remote control, I cannot unmute my microphone. So I'll try to do it again. Okay, let's see if now it works. Sorry, I'm just checking. Yeah, okay, good, it works. So the first presentation is the board updates. So we'll present you our updates from since June after the online AGM that we had basically. And we'll provide the updates not only of the board, but also of the teams, the secretariat, and everyone involved in ESN International. Just give me a second to fix something. Okay, so we started, as you know, our mandate, the new mandate in the 15th of July, after we got your trust again to be in the board for one more time. We started with a lot of motivation, new experiences. Here you see the picture of the board, the new one. And actually, just before we started our mandate, we had a very nice IB alumni meeting here in Brussels in our office. This is the tradition. Every year, many IB alumni members coming to Brussels in order to provide input to the incoming board. After that, we had the chance to have a very nice board strategy meeting in the countryside of Brussels. Here you see a very nice picture with the board. We actually spent 3 days strategizing about very, very important matters for our organization. And some of those matters, you will see them later on in the presentation. Yeah, sorry, but there is lag with the presentation. It doesn't work. Okay. Then we had the chance over the summer to recruit the new teams. We had almost 100 volunteers joining ESN International in various teams, committees, communities, and so on. And we also managed to work with all of them to create new action plans for the next year. And as you know, all those action plans are integrated in the action plan of ESN International. So now we have everything in place, and we are implementing those action plans in this semester. We also have the pleasure this year to experience for the first time the new governance structure of ESN, and now we have the first ever General Assembly in this current structure. So we are very happy, and the board try to adjust to this new reality, to try to make all the procedures that we need to have possible. And yeah, here we are today experiencing these new elements of the new structure of ESN. Moving on. Yeah, so the strategic matters that we actually discussed in the past months are those that you see here. The most important is, of course, the boards of ESN, and we managed to create a plan on how we can have a sustainable growth for our organization in the next 6-7 years. We also discussed about the associate membership and how we can revamp it and how can we make it much better in order to meet the needs of our organization in the future. We also discuss how we can bring back the programs of ESN, because as you know, in the past years, due to the restructuring of our activities, in the introduction of courses and everything, we had to leave the programs aside for a moment, and now we are actually planning to see how we can bring them back. And of course, we discussed about the structure of the board and how we can make changes in the future so our organization to be even more sustainable. Yeah, we had a lot of consultations with you, with the network. We had a lot of calls with the national organizations, either us as a board, but also with the contribution of the chairing team. We had consultations about the borders, for example. We had consultations about the GA and many other matters. And we really thank you for having this active contribution and giving us your input on those issues related to the functioning of ESN. We also tried to offer a lot of capacity building. I mean, we know that we didn't have the opportunity to meet physically to have the trainings, but we still wanted to offer you this opportunity. And this is why we organized many trainings like NBM, the regional platforms, the community meetings. So we kept everything, we moved them online, and we put a lot of effort, not only the board, but also the teams that we are working with us. And you actually, as participants, made those events very, very fruitful. And thank you very much for this. We also tried to provide the best support possible to the network in the context of COVID-19. We know that you have a lot of troubles. That's why we're trying to provide support not only to the national organization, but directly to the local sections. Either by organizing the training events that I mentioned, either by organizing meetings or creating new platforms, updating old platforms, and so on. Then moving on to the Secretariat here. Currently we have 13 members in our Secretariat, and we are missing one web developer, and we are struggling to find one. So please help us spread the word to see if somebody wants to join us here in Brussels. Without these people, it wouldn't be possible to have all the things that ESN has today. And we really want to thank them all. We have permanent employees, we have people who are here through the European Solidarity Corps program, and we have also interns. Yeah. Now, when it comes to grants, you know that a big portion of our budget comes from public funding, from grants, which those grants actually allow us to function as an organization and have very nice activities. Since June 2020, we got these grants approved. So the first one is basically the Educate, so is the work plan that we received funding from the Council of Europe to have trainings throughout the year. We also had the study session approved from the Council of Europe, again about democratic engagement. We also had the Green Erasmus, which is the biggest project that ESN will have like in this year and the next year. This is a project that ESN is coordinating. And then we have the Erasmus Goes Green project, which is basically a project that we are partners, coordinated by other organizations. And as you know, environmental sustainability is one of the biggest priorities now, so we want to focus on that. We also have a project together with ESN France, which is called Compass, and it is about intercultural experiences, bringing the concept of ambassadors and so on. And then we have a very big project which is related to the digitalization of mobility management and digitalization of all the procedures related to Erasmus+. We also got a very big grant from the European Parliament to implement activities related to the Conference on the Future of Europe, which I will show you later. And we are waiting for 7 more grants actually to be approved, and we applied for them throughout the summer. So fingers crossed that the majority of those grants will get approved. When it comes to the external relations, we had actually the pleasure to receive the special consultative status of the United Nations, which will open to ESN many important doors in the future and will make us a global advocate for student mobility. We also attended the EIE, which is the annual event related to the international education. This is the biggest one in Europe, and the board has the chance to represent ESN for one more year. We also had a very nice partnership. We started a very nice partnership with UNESCO, as you already know. And in my updates, I will let you know a little bit more about this. And we attended ERACON, which is the conference of the Erasmus coordinators. When it comes to activities and programs, we have a lot of ESN International has a lot of activities, programs, and services that goes directly to the local level, right? So it's not only the support that we provide to the national level, but through all these services that you see here, we actually contribute directly, not only for the local level in ESN, but also for the international students. For example, we have the online learning agreement, which is a tool that the students can use, but more about that you will hear from Kaspars. We also this year took a very nice, we had a very nice contribution to the Erasmus Days. Our sections around Europe organized 110 ESN activities in 21 countries, which was very, very encouraging to see. And we received a lot of appreciation from the French National Agency and the European Commission about this. We also have now the Social Inclusion Days running, which is the campaign in order to increase the work that we are doing in this field through our sections. We also had the Health and Well-being Week. And for yet another year, we will have the Responsible Party, and we were very happy to renew the contract with Pernod Ricard in order to implement activities related to health and well-being. Now I will move on to my updates. So actually as a president, I work in the field of external representation, advocacy, policy, research, and of course the management of the organization. Here I will mention a few of my updates, but before that, allow me to tell you which are the people that I'm working on with and which are the teams that I am supervising. First of all, I am in charge for the policy department of headquarters here in Brussels. And those are my colleagues, Rasmus, Wim, and Adessa, who are helping me in these areas that I just mentioned to you. Very important support we receive, of course, from the liaison office. We have 9 very experienced and motivated people that they are working in different fields. We have also liaison officers that represent ESN towards organizations like the Lifelong Learning Platform, the European Youth Forum, and then we have liaison officers who are in charge for specific regions like Asia, Africa, and Middle East, and Latin America, and North America in general. Then I am also in charge of the International Committee of Education. Here we have Eva, Sveta, and Barbara, who are part of the chairing team. And we recently established the ESN Survey Team. You know that this is the flagship research project of ESN International, and it takes place every 2 years. And now we have the pleasure to have the ESN Survey Team, which will carry out the ESN Survey 2021. And last but not least, my friend Theo, who is the education community manager, and he is the one who is supporting me in managing the education community, which consists of presidents and education officers. Now, going to the external relations, since June 2020, we actually attended 40 external events. We were either organizers or speakers, and this is actually a very it's a big number when it comes to the events compared to when we had physical events. You know that now that everything is online, everybody is organizing something. And through this, we have managed to gain a lot of visibility. So these are one of the positive elements that we see during the pandemic. I'm not going to mention, of course, all the 40 events, but I choose some very important events. So as you know, ESN is engaged in the European Universities Initiative, which is one of the biggest initiatives of the European Union. This is about bringing together different universities, creating an alliance. And we have currently 41 alliances, and ESN is trying to advocate for the contribution of international students through within these alliances. We, as I mentioned before, we attended also EIE, and we provided, we had some presentations related to the work that we do in ESN International, ERACON, which I mentioned just before. Then we also had the opportunity to attend high-level events like the Student Success Forum organized by Times Higher Education. Here for the Erasmus Days, I think something that we had the honor to do this year for the first time is the fact that the European Commission and the National French Agency, they asked us to be the ones actually opening the Erasmus Days. And Erasmus Days is an initiative that brought around like thousands of activities, around 5,000 of activities in 83 countries, and ESN was there by the official channels of Erasmus Plus and so on to showcase our work and what we are doing. We also had the opportunity to meet both the Commissioner of Education and the Vice President of the European Commission, which you saw his message today. This is actually very nice for us because it shows us that the European Commission is really trusting ESN. It's super rare for youth organizations to have access to this, let's say, high political doors. And this is something that all of us, we should be proud for having this kind of visibility and networking in a high level. Moving on, we are cooperating. This number is actually wrong. I put the wrong number. I'm very sorry, but we are not cooperating only with 60 organizations, but actually with 120, double from the number that I have here. We cooperating with this organization in different modalities. One is, of course, through our projects. And we also cooperate with several organizations by being members of European platforms. So ESN is member of the European Youth Forum, the Lifelong Learning Platform, and the European Movement International. The same way that ESN sections are part of ESN national organizations and the national organizations are part of ESN International, then ESN International is a member of European organizations. So this is a fourth level category, and we also have voting rights in these organizations, and we decide about the priorities and the plans of those platforms. Actually, our liaison officers, Juan and Sean, attended the European Youth Forum and the European Movement International General Assemblies respectively, and they tried to provide the input of ESN and elect their new boards, of course. We are also part of different alliances. We all know the Erasmus Plus Student Alumni Association. We are part of it. We are also part of the Inclusive Mobility Alliance, the Generation Climate Europe, and many others. And very recently, we became part of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum. And this is an effort that ESN is actually trying to do in order to increase the support that we provide to our members from non-EU countries. I mentioned already that we received the status from the United Nations. This is a big honor for ESN, and this is something that it started actually 2 years ago from our predecessors, and we received now the information finally. When it comes to UNESCO, we are contributing with a specific project. Our role is to mobilize the Erasmus generation and gather the input about how we can improve education in the future. And we do this by having, by sharing a questionnaire to the international students and organizing focus groups, which you will see being implemented in your organizations in the next, in December and January. And we are hoping to create out of it an ESN report to send it to UNESCO. And the ultimate goal is to have our name, ESN, mentioned in the global United Nations reports, which will be released in the General Assembly of United Nations in September 2021. So as you can imagine, this is a very big achievement, and we're trying to reach this goal. We are also trying to become more present in other continents, not only in Europe, of course. Our liaison officer, Olivia, who's in charge of Asia, and we had a call with ASEAN Youth Organization, which is the organization that represents the ASEAN countries, as the name suggests. And we are now almost in a situation where we are trying to sign a memorandum of understanding with them to strengthen the collaboration that we have with stakeholders in Asia. Jose, our liaison officer for Americas, he had a discussion with the European Union Latin American Commission, which is basically the official, the Latin American Commission is the official organization that represents the Latin American countries, and they have a collaboration with the European Union, and we had a discussion with them, and we are starting now to see how we can cooperate in order to make ESN also present in advocacy level in Latin America. When it comes to the policy field, we are working in many policies this year and the past one. The most important ones is the European education area, the new Erasmus Plus program, of course. We are working to see how we can improve the situation for international students during the COVID-19. We are trying to make the new Erasmus Plus program more inclusive, sustainable, and digitized. And we're trying to provide more skills for students, for international students. We have the Erasmus Skills Project, as you may know, and we are working on making mobility more qualitative. And finally, this is the last policy area that we are working, and we are going to have a lot of engagement in the next year, which is related to the conference on the future of Europe that I will explain to you in a bit. When it comes to advocacy, as you know, we are now focusing to advocate for the new Erasmus Plus program, more budget. We are trying also to increase the grant that students get from the Erasmus 500, but we are also supporting UK and Switzerland with their efforts. So for Switzerland to become part of the new Erasmus Plus program and UK to remain as part of the Erasmus Plus program. And congratulations to both of them because they are doing an amazing job. I mentioned the ESN survey. It will come in, actually in the next few weeks. We will start promoting it. So get ready because we will have the opportunity to gather some nice input from the students. When it comes to the education community, we have a lot of engagement. We are trying to organize activities, and we had the first online Erasmus upgrade. And we had a lot of engagement from the President's education officers, and we are very happy about this. And lastly, when it comes to ICE, they are providing collaboration guides to increase the collaboration that we have with national stakeholders, local stakeholders. We have policy watch articles, and of course, they are trying to create info notes for the new Erasmus Plus program and youth mobility in general. This is from my side. I will pass it to Tayana. Just give us a second because we have, it's not easy to move the presentation, so you have to actually click because this doesn't work.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So from my side,
can you mute?
Because you have it open.
Yeah, and I cannot unmute.
But you have to. You have to.
Wait. Let's see what we can do here.
Do you want me to mute you and I can activate Tayana?
Wait.
To take his earphones then. Okay, sorry for the small technical issues. Moving on with my updates. I would also like to introduce you to the people I work with first. So I have the HR department in the ESN office. Zrinka, who is the events project manager, and Alberto, who is the training and development assistant. Of course, I have my network care team, who is coordinated by Ugo this year as a network care coordinator that consists of regional coordinators. We have one coordinator for each region, community managers for our communities. Regional training coordinators who were supporting the regional coordinators during the regional platforms. The membership team, who is this year for the first year an independent team outside of the network care team, and as you can see has quite a few members and is coordinated by the membership coordinator, which is Paula for this year. I also have the network committee or NEC that consists of 3 people. This year we have also been working on defining the fields of NEC a little bit more, so I would encourage you to check their wiki page in order to find out more about that. The Educate team that is taking care of the Educate program and coordinating mainly the Educate Starter and Educate Forward, as well as our dear General Assembly chairing team with whom I'm cooperating quite a lot when it comes to the matters connected to the Assembly. And when it comes to the Erasmus Generation meeting, I have the CT that consists of 5 people, as well as the EGM advisory team, which was repurposed from the AGM advisory team. Now, starting from the actual updates, and we will start from network governance and management. As you can remember, in the beginning, we have sent you the 6 pillars of the General Assembly, which are representation, inclusion and diversity, transparency and accessibility, consultation, participation and engagement, and collaboration. And we hope that in the future we can keep following these 6 pillars in order to make our assembly as fruitful and as, well, all of these things as possible. When it comes to the support structures, you may remember that in the last year we have started working on the review of the support structures when we had network-wide consultations. Currently, I'm focusing on creating recommendations in connection to the future of the support structure in ESN based on the analysis that we did from the consultations with the network, but as well as the IB alumni, as well as creating internal regulations for the support structures in order to create more flexible procedures for the functioning of the support structures in ESN that can be outside of our statutes and standing orders. When it comes to the network analysis, this year, like every other year, we had a section questionnaire and a national questionnaire that is now connected to our membership statutory membership requirements. The section questionnaire is now going to be analyzed by NEC. You're all going to receive the results of your sections as soon as the warnings pass, since you know that now we are sending the warnings for the sections who didn't fill it in to manage to fill it in. Before they are unfortunately expelled from the network if they fail to do so. And the national questionnaire is going to be analyzed by the network care team, so you should receive the reports as soon as this is done. We have also been working quite a lot on ESN Wiki, so there now you can find new and updated information. ESN Wiki is quite important because it is our main knowledge and information platform. It enables fair and easy access of information to the volunteers, so every single volunteer inside of the network has access to Wiki. So you can find new and updated information there regarding the projects, regarding the teams, but also regarding the new structure of ESN. We are also currently exploring the interactivity of the platform and everything that it allows, so that it is not something that is static like Wiki used to be for now. So you could have seen maybe some things already happening on Wiki, especially it being used more for recruitment and as well as for spreading information that is current and that is short term and that is not going to be there forever. We are also building community spaces so that communities can engage more on Wiki. And we are currently working on creating promotion materials so that we can more promote the materials and tools, especially in the toolbox of Wiki, to make it more accessible to the sections and the national organizations, as well as creating the Wiki tutorial so that the sections can understand, and especially the new volunteers can understand the Wiki better, as well as the importance of ESN accounts in the entire process of acquiring information in ESN. Moving forward towards the membership, as you know, and as I already mentioned, the membership team is this year an independent team. They're taking care of 3 candidate sections, well, 2 potential candidate sections from whom we are going to hear more about this General Assembly, one from Chernivtsi in Ukraine and the other one from Yerevan in Armenia. We are also currently supporting ESN Mostar candidate section from Bosnia. We also have 9 developing organizations that you can see on the screen that the membership team is taking care of in efforts to revitalize them and help them become more engaged in the network. We have also been working on developing more strict and more streamlined membership procedures for the team members to follow. While the General Assembly CT has been taking care of the membership requirements that we now have for the national organizations, and they have been collaborating quite a lot with the membership team and the network care team in order to achieve this. And as Kostis already mentioned, we have started working on the associate membership, which is quite another important membership pillar in ESN. We have published communication guidelines for candidate sections, which you can find on Wiki and use for your national purposes as well. And we have also published the Active Expansion Toolkit for easier acquisition of new sections, either inside of a country or inside of ESN. If you would like to use this in your native language and use the same booklet but translated to your native language, we can give you access to the editable files so that you can do this for your national organization. When it comes to the network care and development, the topics in focus are currently the quality assurance. So as you may know, the network care team has been doing quality assurance calls in order to kickstart the procedures. And we also have started a quality assurance interest group in the HR network community in order to help the national organizations build this same type of a system for their national organizations as well. We are currently tackling the topic of the organizational culture, where the network care team is going to be producing more materials for the national organizations to be able to understand and tackle the topic as well as the problems. And then when it comes to the professionalization of national organizations, we are going to open the interest group for the national organizations who are interested in the topic of professionalization, which is also going to be coordinated by the network care team. When it comes to the STAR Awards, we have been working on making our current award system more usable as a tool for recognition. You may remember that last year we had a website, and this year we're going to continue using it. However, we would like to also use it more as a database of submissions, where you would be able to see all the submissions from the sections as well as a database of winners. We're also currently working on the rebranding of the STAR Awards. So they're going to have a new name and a new visual identity, which you're going to receive more information on from the CT, as well as the external jury. So some awards, especially the ones that are external and that are activity-based, are going to have an external jury. When it comes to the HR, we have 3 topics in focus, which are volunteer management, training, and learning, that are present in our training events and especially in the HR and network community. We have also had our online community meeting where we had several training tracks. We had a centralized recruitment campaign that consisted of videos, visuals, as well as sending the news directly to the students through ESN card and ESN newsletters. And we are preparing this for the next semester as well in collaboration with NEC and ComCom. Finally, the network care team is working currently on the community management as well as field-specific HR needs, where we are going to be defining volunteer profiles inside of the communities. A network committee has produced a recruitment toolkit, which you can find on the wiki, and currently they are working on the HR challenge, which is going to be an interactive game for the sections to understand the field of HR better. I have also been working on developing the human resources strategy and consulting both the teams and the community on this, and we are going to talk about it during this General Assembly as well. And we have also started working more on streamlining how we do ESN, how we do HR in ESN International, so supporting our teams more in the field of HR. When it comes to the training and development, we had 4 main capacity building topics, which are intercultural understanding, organizational culture, volunteer management, and community management present at our training events. We also had some capacity building on the international level for our teams, which is the webinar on how to organize effective online meetings so that they can do so for their communities and teams. And we are currently preparing the session on facilitation with emphasis on online facilitation for the teams. We are also currently running a training lab for the national organization, which is a learning course to help the national organizations design in real time their training events that they will be able to then implement. So we are leading them through the training design process. And we had our first learning course yesterday. And we are also designing the crash course on facilitation that is going to be accessible to the entire network on ESN Wiki. We have also produced intercultural dialogue booklet, workshop booklet as a part of the work plan 2020, and you should receive intercultural dialogue manifesto pretty soon. And we also have the new work plan, which is focusing on the topic of LGBTQI. That is going to be covering Educate Starter, Educate Forward, regional platforms, and autumn training. We also have a call for the Rainbow Task Force that is currently recruiting until the end of the week. So please disseminate this to your volunteers. We also had a back-to-school study session in an online format, which was quite successful. When it comes to the topic of validation of volunteer work, you have received the email from me recently, where you could have also read the validation progress report, as well as the fact that we are currently pilot testing the validation process for the volunteers of ESN International. We have been offering competence development workshops to both NOs as well as the events of the ESN International. We have also been externalizing the work we have been doing, for example, at VFC General Assembly, towards the LLLP. We have also applied for the Job Board in this topic. We are currently developing the My ESN Career Service in the topic of validation, and NEC is developing the project called Desk of Competences, sorry, not Desk, but DEC, that is supposed to bring the topic closer to the local level in a more fun and interactive way. And finally, when it comes to the event management, we have our tools. So we have prepared a manual on how to prepare and facilitate online activities and events, as well as produced the recommendations for the OCs organizing events during the pandemic, as well as the healthy events guidelines. And we have updated the events coordinators toolkit, which we are going to be making accessible for the national level as well. We have had the national board training. So thank you very much to both Ugo, who was coordinating it, as well as the trainers who were participating, and you participants who were making it possible. We also had 5 regional platforms. If you think that this is a screenshot from one, and no, it's a screenshot from all 5 regional platforms. Thank you very much to the people who were working on it and who made all of this possible. It was quite important to have these capacity building events for the local volunteers, even in an online format. We have also been working on the Erasmus Generation meeting. So we had a central team for EGM 2020, which will be the new Erasmus Plus program, as well as the connected subfields and subcategories. We have issued a sneak peek into EGM statement, as well as creating the info note for the partners and developing the program. However, since the OC and the CT are also going to have their updates, I'm not going to go more into that, so you're going to be able to hear it then. When it comes to the upcoming priorities, I have the finalization of the Agile Network strategy, a creation of the training plan, continuing with the training lab, organization of the Educate Starter, which is going to take place online, continuing with the development of the validation service for the network, working on the associate membership as well as on the alumni program, further work with the EGM, as well as the review of the support structures. Now you will be able to hear more from João about the treasurer updates.
Good morning, everyone. All right, so let's move on because we are a bit short on time. So first big update comes from here, from the headquarters. Well, back then when we had the AGM, the team was composed by Francois, our accountant, Irka, partnership manager, and Shardov as a digital marketing intern. Well, Irka decided to take a step in his career and move for another project. And we are very happy for the work that he has done and very thankful. But we also have to move on. And now we have Shardov who took over his position, while also Violina started a month ago as our new digital marketing intern. So when it comes to finance and grants management, as you might assume, the bookkeeping, accounting, and reimbursements that we usually get very busy with is not as busy as usual because, well, the circumstances of not having physical events and of not having people moving that much will also reduce the flux of our cash. So it's true that we calm a bit down. We also have worked a lot now for the budget of the next year and the interim report of the current year, which we will present later. So not much to say. When it comes to grants management and reporting, so out of the grants that Kostis has mentioned to you, 4 of them I have been budgeting them they will be managed for the next couple of years, while other 3 have been reported, in which one I must highlight, which is the Social Erasmus Plus. It's finally done. We have concluded it, and we are very proud for the success of that grant. Lastly, we have been preparing the Grants Lab. Some of you have received, if not most of you, have received an email announcing that we will have a meeting in January. I will be working mostly with Rasmus and Kostis to prepare you for the upcoming year and to prepare you for the changes about the Erasmus Plus applications that you can make, as well as grants with ESA. Well, when it comes to partnerships, we have some new commercial partners. We have NordVPN, which is a VPN provider, and well, the name says it all. And we are about to start in the beginning of 2021. And we have Brightrip as well, which is a company that provides video guides for ways of traveling, as well as information for destinations. Then we have actually, on the other hand, also partners that are no longer with us. One of them is Basecamp, hosting or accommodation provider, which decided to not renew the contract with us. And then we have situations that are a bit complicated, which are under negotiation. One of them is Skillshare, which we are still waiting for some return from their side. The other one, Hostelink International, which right now is on layoff. They are not working at all, and Spot a Home who also asked to do some renegotiations. I can talk to you about this later on. Well, when it comes to the marketing and the marketing services that we provide, so you have seen more or less in the beginning of the academical year that we have prepared the marketing plan, mostly focused on the ESN card. This was a plan that was meant to tackle the impact of COVID in our sections and national organizations, and to put certain objectives that will fight this downturn that we are having. Then we are also here in the office, we are reviewing some of our marketing services. We are trying to see how we can explore other areas, pricing lists, and many more. This is most of an internal job, so probably will not see, but this is basically how we will establish the way we negotiate with our partners. Then we are also exploring other advertising tools like Google AdWords and Google AdSense. Well, AdWords, it's to advertise ESN. AdSense is probably something that we will start putting in some of our web pages. And this is why I'm mentioning that we are trying to capitalize the visibility of Erasmus Intern, as well as ESN blog.
She said all.
Somebody's speaking.
So it's like a...
Somebody was speaking. Well, finally, when it comes to affiliate marketing, this is something that we also have been continuously working. Very soon, all of you will get the invoices corresponding to the execution of this year. Sorry, we'll get the request for you to bring us invoices, because you're the ones asking for money. And this will come now in December when we start finalizing the year. Moving on. So when it comes to the ESN card itself, I've counted with the support of Chris and Oscar and the rest of the people here in the headquarters as well, to work a lot on the ESN card online distribution. There is a tool that we have provided to the sections in the beginning of the year that they could use, that will help them distribute the ESN card online and also make it available for students without them coming to the offices. And we have also launched a campaign to the public, come directly from ESN International, targeting people that haven't reached out to sections yet, saying that we have ESN card online available. Then other things that we have done, we are ongoing with the ESN card autumn order. We just closed it and we collected your orders. I have to say they are not very, very high as you would expect. But still, we are going to produce what you have requested, and in January we will get them. We have also worked on the terms and conditions draft. There will be a presentation about that, so not much to say. We are also working on a development plan with Droptica, the company that we subcontract to do the developments of ESNcard.org. We are going to actually have a call with them to look into the development plan on Monday, so I cannot bring you so far that many updates about it. But the idea is to bring the membership and also making the tool for you to use it online much easier. And also we have, with Oscar, I've been doing some personalized support to national organizations. Some of you have been contacted, usually mostly the ones that either show a lot of potential of expanding the scale of ESN card distributions within their own scope, or the ones that will probably face some challenges throughout the next year. Of course, we cannot do in detail, two people cannot do in detail everyone, since there are 35 NOs implementing right now ESN card. Well, we will try to reach out to as many as possible. Then, when it comes to the community, there was in the beginning of the year a provision of some information, quantitative information from the section questionnaire that was given to the NOs within the community, of course. This is data from the section questionnaire of 1819, and this was a tool that was provided to allow national organizations to define goals. So I will give just a small example. If they will define if they are telling us that their sections have, I don't know, 10 partners, and only one is displayed at esncard.org, then we can define the goal to put all the rest in there. And there is more other tangible inputs that they can take from. Then, of course, we also had the monthly calls with our community and the Business and Finance Conference, which unfortunately we didn't have the image. We were too busy or maybe distracted to take the picture back then. Then when it comes to the Finance Committee, so the Finance Committee right now is actually suffering a little bit from shortage in terms of human resources. So people, like we already closed the recruitment, that we'll try to expand as much as possible. In any case, there was still work that we have done. In the beginning of the year, I mean around after the pandemic came, we had some action teams that work with some of you, with some NOs, to provide some support and some consulting to them, like how now they could recover from this. We used those, and we understood that there was some improvements in the plans for these action teams. So we have now created some guides that the teams can start working in a more efficient way. So soon in the beginning of 21, some of you might either request or be contacted to get this support. There is a new treasury package that will be launched hopefully in the beginning of the year as well. We have a team working on that, so they are refurbishing what has been done before, and of course the recruitment process that we went through with the committees. Then when it comes to the IG team, which they now work with us directly, we had the first community call of the team, where we actually have a very long discussion and very long talks about how would it go with national Erasmus games and other events based in sports that our national organizations would do. And well, the pandemic is not making things very easy, and this is why I'm mentioning here also that the International Erasmus Games 2021 are on standby. This means that so far we didn't open the call for the OC, and we still are seeing how we are going to do this. So in January we'll have more news. Nonetheless, we are working on some changes in the rule book, and we are working on some stuff that, regardless if we have an event or not, we can still still work. There was the Health and Wellbeing Week. We are working now on checking the submissions on activities, and also preparing to you a report on the visibility of the campaign. This will soon be launched. And we also are now with an ongoing campaign, Please Participate. This is very healthy and very good for you. You can just do it at home, which is the Let's Stay Fit, where you can do some workouts and yoga in your room. You just need your body and some space. Lastly, we have worked with the customers. I have worked a lot in the donations page. We have refurbished it, and now you can actually go through it and check that there are some donations button in some of our websites, not just the general one, the ESN, but you can also find in other projects and programs websites some buttons there. This means that now if you would like to specifically donate for a project that you really, really like, you can do that. Soon we will launch a campaign just to disseminate this. The timing was just not there yet. Lastly, upcoming priorities. There are quite a few. There is the financial report 2020 to be done in the beginning of next year, as well as the internal and external audits. I'm going to open a working group to find new financial investment opportunities with you, and hopefully we will find something very interesting in the finance markets. We have a lot of contract renegotiations with commercial partners. This situation with the COVID complicated things. We have a lot of requests to review all these things. Of course, we want to implement the development plan from Droptica that I mentioned before. There is a customer satisfaction tool that we will be launching hopefully in the end of the semester, which basically has the goal, we are already working on it, but the goal basically is to collect feedback from the students directly when they use our ESN card newsletter, and they will say how much they appreciate ESN or how much they don't, we don't know, as well as the services provided by ESN card. And this is meant to be used at least in a semester regularity. Then of course, execution of grants lab in the beginning of the year, and then we will have to figure out whether we are going to have IAG 2021 and when and how, or if not. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Sabina here. I will try to go fast and present you all of my updates. Everything starts from the communication department, the creative department in the headquarters. Since August, the beginning of August, Ynet is not working with us anymore. We would like to say thank you. And in November, Naja started as the new communication and media intern, which means that finally we can go back to functioning normally, because the last few months have been very difficult and didn't allow us to move on with many projects. In the creative department, we are oftentimes not only 3 people, Nina, Naja, and I, but we also work very, very close with Wim, our project manager, on the communication, on the branding and promotion of our projects. The communication committee, it's formed by 3 very talented people. And this year, they are supporting a lot also when it comes to branding, but also with the external promotion of ESN. And the communication community is led by Naja, yes, a familiar face, Naja from ESN Serbia. When it comes to our communication channels, our website is developing very well. In the past 6 months, we had 1.4 million page users. Also the ESN blog is growing, but unfortunately not as fast. The Twitter and LinkedIn channels of ESN are going very well. On Twitter, we always make sure that we catch up with the latest news when it comes to education. We promote our services, and we also create content during the events that we participate in. When it comes to LinkedIn, we notice an explosive growth in the past months, and we have now reached around 1,000 followers per month in the past 6 months. On ESN's Facebook, we are trying to have more content for youth, as well as on Instagram. The Erasmus Generation Instagram is the hot one to follow these days. The engagement rate is more than 7%, which is actually a triple of the average that you would get for such number of followers. And if you remember, during AGM, we were talking about 3K followers. Now we have almost 6K. We also have a new, fresh type of content and channels. You can follow the Erasmus Generation TikTok, but please also listen to the ESN podcast. The last episodes of the ESN podcast have also an external audience, and we will start soon a large campaign to promote the podcast. We have 3 ESN newsletters that we send from the office. The first one is the one that you receive in your inboxes, the one dedicated for volunteers. Then we have the one that we send to our stakeholders. where you can see that we reshaped a bit in the last months. Now we're also mentioning when ESN appears in the media, and we also have the quote of the month next to the news related to ESN and education and the promotion of ESN's services. The ESN card newsletter is the one that is reaching our international students. This is a work done by the marketing department, but in very close collaboration with the creative department. And we are now looking into rebranding the ESN card as the newsletter of the Erasmus generation. Public relations. We have a very good coordination between the communication and policy departments, and we work together to promote ESN's work in advocacy. There has been an increased media presence for ESN in the past months, and I also participated as an ESN representative in the EAI community exchange with 2 sessions, and we are always not only speaking in events from the comms side, but also doing coverage for events that we attend online, and now there are many. When it comes to publications, we have managed to finalize, to put into design the research report of ESN Survey 2018, and we are preparing to launch soon. You will receive all information, the Inclusive Communication Manual, but also the Erasmus ebook that we have been working on for the past years. Yes, the annual report is also already there. It will be virtually very soon, everywhere online, promoted by us and by you. We had to postpone working on it for the past months. When it comes to branding, one ESN, one message, we have updated the visual identity manual with according to the last visual identity update, and next week you will be able to find it in the brand package. And now we are working on the branding of EGM and IAG. And we are doing a lot of work when it comes to the understanding of the importance of unity, of not having an internal competition in the network, and we are addressing this through campaigns and lately through workshops. The registration of the ESN logo is also on the way. Unfortunately, we are encountering some issues because we received an opposition from an organization with a name similar to ours, with the acronym. And now we are having official communication with them, trying to get to a settlement. When it comes to the work to support the network, the communication community is on a roll. We are having, of course, monthly calls, and we also organized the 11th Communication Summit online this time, where we were able to also invite local communication managers and also members of ComCom, but also the education community. This is very important because this year we are trying to connect more the 2 communities. And currently we are working with the 2 of them to develop knowledge to support them in their relations with the media. For the regional platforms, I participated in CEP. Hello, thank you very much for welcoming me. I also created a session for the entire network when it comes to discuss about the unity in message of ESN. We are providing various tools and materials when it comes to dissemination of ESN services that you in the network can use further on your channels. And we also have a lot of materials from ComCom next to, of course, the services that they provide with each team. Some things that you might have seen lately are the latest booklets, the design of them, the one, for example, for healthy event guidelines or the digital cultural heritage guideline. And work in projects is happening a lot, mostly in the creative department in the headquarters with the support of WIM. Besides being in the actual part of management for Home and Erasmus Plus app, of course, from the creative department, we are taking care of the communication and promotion of all projects that ESN is involved in. And as upcoming priorities, I will participate in a consultation event about the promotion of the new Erasmus Plus program. And we have the launch of the Erasmus app in the beginning of next year. We will finalize the annual report. And we are now working on the ESN Survey 2021. And in the next weeks, together with the headquarters, we are starting to work on a refurbished social media strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope. Okay, Kasper, your time will be over, but since to the technical problems, I'm going to give you some more minutes. Please try to finish for 12 o'clock. Thank you.
I mean, thank you, Vittorio. I mean, the good thing with time is it's relative, so we can always bend it a bit and make 10 minutes shorter if we need to. I always wanted to, because this is an interesting experience. Okay, so let's move on to my updates. A story of IT and ESN, a love story with everything that it entails. So my work would not be possible with a lot of people that support me daily and stop me from sometimes making stupid mistakes, which I'm sometimes prone to do. The first are the IT department, where I'm currently supported by Gork and Annie. Canada's contract ended in August, so I'd like to thank him for his 2.5 years in ESN. This meant, though, that we still have a vacancy in the IT department we couldn't fill, which means we have had to make some readjustments, but still things are going forward nicely. I am also supported by the IT committee, with Trismano and Bianca, that work on a lot of our volunteer initiatives, such as Satellite 5. And I also work closely with this new social impact team that is really going to zoom out to take a look at the key thing that makes ESN, which are the activities we do, and see how we can improve that and support all of your volunteers in the network to make our activities even better than they already are. The second aspect is that we will also discuss later on Sunday the adaptation of the tools in new structure when it comes to the communication channels and participatory tools. I just want to already mention that there have been some delays. I will explain that a bit more on Sunday, but you can ask me questions, of course, in the question round anyway, if you wish. We also have been present in terms of digitalization, so I attended 2 panel discussions in the DigiEdu Hack and Erocon about the digitalization of Erasmus+, as well as I moderated a panel in the Moving Target conference organized by the EAD as part of the German presidency. Then we have the new Erasmus+ app that will be launched in January, which means we're scrambling quite a lot behind the scenes to make sure that all of ESN's tools are closely linked to it. I also presented it in AIE together with the European University Foundation and the European Commission. We also have launched a new version of the online learning agreement, where ESN redesigned the front end together with Aristoteles University of Saloniki and EUF. And we launched it at an Erasmus Goes Digital conference, where we actually gave a demo, where we had more than 2,000, and this time the number is correct in the slides, more than 2,000 participants. So you can see just how important the event is and just how big it is. And it was a massive privilege to demo the tool as ESN at this conference. So I think it was really awesome to do that. Also, we have a general move towards the European Digital Student Service Infrastructure, which I'll discuss in the digitalization session on Friday. We have updated the activities platform. adding more statistics and generally trying to improve the experience. We receive a lot of new recommendations as well as bugs that you notice, so I can only encourage you to keep reaching out to me regarding to that, and we'll always try to adapt to them as quickly as we can. Next to the statistics, we've also updated the activities registrations themselves. You can now, for example, see the Sustainable Development Goals also linked to an activity, and we have optimized the assignment of causes to centralize the data and make it easier for us to research and analyze. And we've also added feedback questionnaires that students can now fill in after an activity. Further on, we are also working on an Erasmus Generation blog, which will build on the ESN blog to bring articles relevant about the Erasmus experience. And both the activities platform and the blog will together create what we call the Erasmus Generation portal, so an entryway to your ESN experience that will down the line add even more tools besides the two that I just mentioned. We also have developed inclusivemobility.eu, which is an updated version of the MAPT platform, which will be launched in February. So currently we are finalizing some final features with the project consortium in the EPTIME project. We're also working on Erasmus Jobs. This was one of the projects we'd had to put in the background for now because the lack of HR, but as the project ends in summer of 2021, it's something that we will pick up starting from January. The buddy system project will also conclude in December. So during the summer, we had some webinars together with ESN France, as well as the final multiplier event in the past few weeks ago, as well as we're also working on a new guidebook that all you'll be able to use on how to implement the buddy system, as well as some promotional materials to also support the promotion of a buddy system or the introduction of a buddy system if you do not have one yet in your section. 3 other projects involved in thus far have also been OpenU, where we have a new work plan, which has reshuffled the project a bit. How long is too long, where we actually have a new desk research on the different types of mobility to see whether virtual mobility can replace physical mobility. Spoiler alert, the answer is no. They are different things, just so you know. And I've also attended the kickoff of the Compass project, although that will now be followed more closely by Zrinka from the ESN office. The social impact team has prepared everything for the social impact days, which are happening now. Be sure to use the press release that we have made, as well as the social media graphics, and remember to register your activities. Further on, the team is also working on updated guidelines for the platform. We also kickstarted a new community for project managers, for which we'll also do some additional supporting materials and sessions on how to organize quality activities. The IT committee also had its recruitment, which meant that we have grown quite a bit in the past few days. And we also have quite a few new teams. The key one is the Satellite 5 team and the ITCOM Dev School team, which will actually be a place where you can learn and develop your skills as part of the committee. Satellite 5 is being made. It will also be based on Drupal and made by a team of volunteers. We're updating Help Center to have even better tutorials on our role. The IT community is having its calls, as well as we had our community meeting. However, I know that most of you don't have an IT responsible or a webmaster, but even so, I ask you to take the time and actually follow up the IT community as well. You'll get an email from the IT committee on this as well, because it's not all IT speak there, trust me. You have some really nice and interesting stuff there as well. When it comes to my priorities until the next GA, the IT department will work primarily on linking our tools with the Erasmus Plus app to make sure we have a successful launch in January, to implement all of the new tools to support the new structure to make procedures easier, to also begin working on the Erasmus Generation portal with activities in the blog, as I mentioned. ITCOM will begin the actual development of Satellite 5, and the social impact team is currently busy kicking off a new community of project managers in the network, which is really exciting to see, as we actually have had a lot of engagement from you. And those who have yet not delegated anyone to represent the community, I once again ask you to also take the time and have someone from your NOs join. That's our board updates. Thank you all for your attention. Here's also our email if you wish to write to us. Normally we don't share it with everyone, but we share it with you because we like you. Thank you all, and I pass it back to the lovely GACT.
Thank you very much indeed. You perfectly respected the time. We are almost going to the coffee break. Just a second. I pass the word to Laurie, who has some very important information for you.
Well, I'm not sure if it's super important, but it's at least fun. As promised, we have indeed prepared the Discord for you guys to, well, chat with each other during the breaks and also tonight and tomorrow evening during the social program. So very soon, Stamatia should be sending you an email because we noticed I can't. There will be quite a lot of information there, but mainly the link is, of course, important. You can share it with the national board members that are not able to attend the meeting because you can only have 3 representatives. They are very welcome to join the Discord channel. There are some rules there, read them carefully, follow the instructions, and then you should get access to the channel, to the server as soon as possible. I'm not sure if I missed anything. So Stamatia, please tell me if I did. Oh no, I did miss something, my dear ESN the Netherlands. We have an activity that's going to be organized by ESN Germany and ESN the Netherlands. Tonight at 9 o'clock, they want to organize a Kahoot for you guys. So definitely be there at the channel to follow that.
Thank you very much, Laurie. Okay, we're going to a coffee break now, 15 minutes. Grab a coffee, relax a bit, and collect your questions. We're coming back at 12:15 Central European Time with the question round for the board update. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back. I hope you had a very good Italian coffee or something very similar. We will now proceed with the question round for the board activity report. So the presentation you just saw from the board. I see, yes, okay. So the speakers list is open. Please raise your hand with the button in case you want to ask a question to the board. I want to underline that this is probably the most important presentation of the whole assembly, with all the respect for all the other ones, but it's the duty of the General Assembly to monitor the work of the board, and I think it's also good for the board to get some questions or feedbacks after all the work they did in Brussels and not only. Please raise your hand with the button. I see some people texting me, but please use the button Participants tab, and you should see the button. Okay, now I see Claudia, yes, in Spain, go ahead.
Hey guys, sorry, I was looking for the option to raise my hand and I was not seeing it. Claudia and ROVS in Spain. I have two questions for Costis. The first one is if you could tell us a bit more about the 7 grants that you asked during the summer in name of ESN International to see what are the possibilities. And then maybe you can tell us a bit more of the role of ESN International in the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum, which I think it's a great idea that ESN International joins this kind of initiatives. So thank you for that. And just if you could give us a bit more of information, and that will be it. Thank you.
We take the questions one by one, right, Vittorio?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, good. Thanks a lot, Claudia. When it comes to the grants that we are waiting for 2 European Youth Together grants. One is related to the gender aspect in mobility programs. So we want to see how decision makers they can create policies taking into consideration gender and to make it more equitable, let's say. Then there is another grant which is related for the sustainability. This is with the European Youth Together grant, which we applied together with the Generation Climate Europe coalition that ESN is part of. Then we are waiting for one also big grant from the European Parliament, which the European Youth Forum applied, and ESN is a partner. And this is a grant specifically for the Conference on the Future of Europe. The other grant that ESN got, which actually we received the information yesterday, it's not only about the Conference on the Future of Europe. It has some elements of it, but it's not entirely to that aspect. And then we are waiting for Horizon 2020 grant, which ESN is again a partner, which is related to sustainability again, and this has to do about sustainable behaviors during your mobility. So how international students, they can save energy while they are in the dormitories, in the houses, and so on. And I am missing some grants. Do you remember? There are 7. But yeah, generally that's the case. And when it comes to the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum, this is something that we have been following from the last year when Marisa Lin was liaison officer still. And we applied back then to become members of the Civil Society Forum. Now is Tanya the one who is following it. And basically, through the Civil Society Forum, we have the chance to network with ministries of education, civil society organizations, youth organizations of students from the Eastern Partnership, but also from the EU. So it's this platform brings together decision makers from EU and Eastern Partnership. Tanya, for example, will represent us in the annual meeting of the Civil Society Forum now in December. Well, different matters will be discussed. It goes much beyond education and mobility, but ESN is focusing mostly on these two aspects. And this is one of the ways how we can structurally provide support to non-EU countries. And now there is this possibility with Eastern Partnership, but we can do also more with Western Balkans as well and with Russia.
Thank you very much, Kostis. Just to remind everyone, because it's the first time, you have to click in the Participants tab, then you see the list of participants, and there is a button, Raise Hand. Please use that button to ask to be added to the speakers list. If it's a reaction, click on the green tick. So, and you also have the option to lower your hand once you've done the questions. Thank you, Claudia, for already doing this. Matteo, your turn.
Matteo, ESN Italy. Hello, everybody. I have a few questions. I will start with a comment for the whole IB. I have to say, we really appreciate the new rhythm that you established regarding the board minutes reports. I don't know what changed since last year, perhaps COVID-19, I don't know, but they are now released complete and on time, and that makes them super useful for us to understand everything that is going on in the international network in almost real time. So good job for that, and keep going with this best practice. Then I can maybe ask a question. Super.
Yes.
For Tayana. About the ESN Wiki. So recently we are, I would say fortunately, adding a lot of useful and well done documents, which are becoming a lot in a positive way. And now the general feedback that we receive usually on the platform from the volunteers is that it is an important and complete tool, but it results a little complicated to use and to understand, and maybe it's easy to get lost. So I want to ask if you have anything in mind about how to work on this issue or to help us reducing this first impression that we usually have with the wiki, which is one of the most important platforms that we have.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think that if you have received feedback about that something has been confusing, that is probably done in the user interaction with the platform. So we would appreciate that kind of feedback back to see maybe something doesn't make sense, some certain path that we have made in searching something. But when it comes to the concrete things that we will do, so we are creating the index for the ESN Wiki, so that you basically have a roadmap where you can find all the documents in a spreadsheet, so that you have kind of a roadmap to ESN Wiki. And what we will also start doing is that we're going to more systematically start actually promoting the materials that are on the wiki, so that they are more visible and accessible to the sections. We are also going to be redesigning the toolbox that we have, since the majority of the tools and materials are there. What we usually try to enforce that everything is added in the toolbox and then interlinked on wiki from the toolbox, so that is everything that is useful can end up there. Yeah, those are the three things that we will do, because we have also noticed that people sometimes do not know that some materials are there, or that they do not know how to find them. But what we're also trying to do is naming everything correctly, so how it should be named, so that the search bar actually works and that the people can find everything through a proper name. But if you have any direct feedback, please email me, and then we will see what we can do and take that into account when making the sitemap.
Thank you very much, Diana. I don't see any reactions, so Gernot, you can go ahead.
So, Gernot Puschek, ESN Austria. My question goes to Kostis, you presented us with the new program and grants we got, which was very interesting. And one of the major points I saw in there was of sustainability. And regarding that, you showed us that you got up with 2 new grants or projects, basically. The one Erasmus, Green Erasmus, and the other one Erasmus Goes Green. And my question is, like, why are those 2, and what's the difference between those 2 actually?
Yeah, I will reply to this question, and then I will leave my fellow board members because they also have more information. Thank you for the question. Green Erasmus is the project that ESN is coordinating, and through this project we are running a very big research in order to identify the behavior of international students when they go on Erasmus, both when it comes to traveling. So for example, what kind of transportation do they get, train, bus, plane, or whatever, but also during their Erasmus, how do they behave? Do they behave responsibly when it comes to environmental sustainability, and so on. We will also have, we will create a website where we want to upload information related to how to become more sustainable when you are abroad, and we want to raise awareness about having more sustainable behavior while on Erasmus. For Erasmus Goes Green, it's mostly about policies related to universities and to staff members. So it's more on the policy side within the university, not directly for students. But maybe one of my colleagues wants to add. Kaspars, yeah.
Sure. Yes. Hello, Gernot. So also another aspect is the outcomes of the project. So Erasmus Goes Green's, I would say the main outcome is a algorithm and a calculator which can be used to see what impact you have based on travels you have. And this is very much in line with the ideas regarding the Erasmus Plus app, as it's something that we added there as well, because Erasmus Goes Green is a project in which we're just a partner. It's led by the European University Foundation. Green Erasmus, on the other hand, is a project that we coordinate, so we take the lead role in the direction we do. So of course, there's a bigger student aspect.
Thank you very much. Leonor.
Hello everyone, Leonora in Portugal. Firstly, thank you so much for your presentation. I had just one small question about the trademark registration. You said you were facing some problems with another organization. Is this something we should be worried about, or is something that you think will be fixed soon, let's say?
Thank you for the question. It will be, we foresee that it will be fixed in the end, be it with an agreement from both sides, be it with going on and presenting our case officially and having somebody from the European Registrations Office, I don't remember the name, decide. They are not happy with the fact that also we use the initials ESN, and they only use ESN in their logo, and they are asking us to simply remove ESN and only keep Erasmus Student Network, which of course we will not do. Their opposition is actually very weak. We have checked this with a lawyer in intellectual property, and therefore that's why we think that that this won't work. They're also established a few years after ESN, and there are various things that show that their case is not at all strong. It's just taking more time that it should have taken, because originally by the end of August we were supposed to have everything done, to have the registration there.
Thank you very much, Sabina. Leonor, do you have another question, or is just your hand still up? Okay, Matteo.
Matteo, yes, in Italy. This one is for Joao. You anticipated in the report that we have some difficult situation with some of our partners, such as Skillshare, Hostel International, maybe a few others. Can you explain to us a little more on this situation and if it's related to the pandemic or if it's something else that is wrong? Or
yeah, thank you. I can explain. So each case is very different, I must say. So let's look into Skillshare. And Skillshare, basically, they were not satisfied with the way we were working. So what happens is that, I don't know if you are aware, but Skillshare was promoting this service where you would get the first 2 months for free. And then Skillshare wrote to us saying, look, yeah, a lot of people are activating their accounts, but then they are not staying. After the 2 months, they are leaving, which I feel like it's quite difficult for us to tackle this, but this is their argument. And we are now discussing if there is a possibility to have a different kind of program, a different kind of promotion for them, or if they really want to leave. Then we have Hosteling International, which is a case actually like Hosteling International is in a very bad situation right now. As you can imagine, they are shutting down their services. They are like not working at all. Their office is closed, and they have asked us to renegotiate our contract. They pay us a fixed fee, and they believe that they will not be capable of coping with that. And they also don't think that us doing the service for them will make sense because they simply don't have anything open. So we are also talking and seeing what can we do, because this is actually quite an extensive contract. It always automatically prolongs, and it is supposed to last more than just a year. So yeah. And then the last case is Spotahome. Actually, I just had a meeting with them a few days ago, and the situation was complicated. Let's say the situation was complicated when I made the presentation. Maybe the situation is less complicated right now because the call was actually very good. So they were quite unsatisfied as well with the situation. So they are an accommodation provider. If people are not traveling, if we don't have international students, well, they cannot sell their products. And they were saying that they didn't want to fulfill also some parts of the agreement of the contract because we also somehow during the beginning of the pandemic, we had to stop some promotion because it didn't really make sense with all the confinement. And we actually reached an agreement, which I do believe that is, in the end, it worked out very well for us, which is, okay, let's terminate the current contract, which should be over by May. So we terminated now. We adjusted the thing, like we get the commissions that we deserve and we get the fixed fee for a third of the contract. And we have the opportunity to renegotiate for 2021. So this is what we agreed from the last call. Now, you asked me what is going to be in 2021. Is it going to be different, the same? I cannot tell you because this is posterior. That is going to be posterior to this. So first we confirmed 2020, and now we are starting during this month to renegotiate for 2021. But we managed to keep them, which I actually think that is quite good because an accommodation provider with ESN, I think, makes a lot of sense. So yeah, this is basically each situation.
Thank you very much.
Can I
Matthew,
go?
do you have another question?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. This one is for Tayana about the Star Wars. So during the presentation, you talked about improving the project and tackling different aspects. And you mentioned also the possibility of an external jury. So this sounds interesting. Could you explain further your ideas on this?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. When it comes to the external jury, when it comes to the activity-based awards that we have, so we have social inclusion, mobility, education, we would like to give our member organizations the possibility to use them more as a recognition tool towards stakeholders for whom those awards are relevant. So we are currently reaching out to different organizations. We try to balance organizations involved in higher education and organizations involved in the youth field for them to join us to evaluate those awards. Of course, the criteria stays the ours. We basically just forward them the awards. And it's going to be a bit nicer to have the externals evaluating, because it's quite weird that we are evaluating ourselves on the activities that we are doing. When it comes to the internal things that we do, like HR practices and the training, this is what we're still keeping under our scope until we find someone trustworthy enough to also externalize that. Because we currently do not have that good connections with like a European training provider or a HR or recruitment company, for example. So once we do have some better connections, we will also probably try to externalize those. But this is the general plan. When it comes to the categories and the timeline, everything stays the same as the last year, and the city is going to send the email now in December about the timeline for the next year. But yeah, that is pretty much that.
Thank you, Diana. Janusz.
Well, I didn't raise.
Go ahead.
It's my turn, right?
Yes.
Okay, so hello, Janusz Mączka, Eastern Poland, NR. At first, I would like to thank you, the board, for your presentations. And my question will be regarding our main communication channel, which is mailing lists. Since we changed from CNR to GA, more and more communication is moved to NB-only mailing list, while we created CNR mailing list for the countries, which was like easier way to add sections there, not that long ago. And I think the main reason to this tool was to bring more knowledge to the local level. So don't you think that moving the communication to the NB lists and also communication like communities lists is not like making transparency worse and making the sections it's harder to reach to informations that you are preparing and providing to us?
I will let Kasper answer, but I just want to remind that we have a dedicated point in the agenda for this, so we can elaborate further about this also on Sunday. But Kasper, please give our first answer.
Indeed, I was actually going to say the same, that we have dedicated time on this, and we are working on some changes. I also advise you to take a look at the concept note we sent before this presentation as well. So you can also have already more specific questions on this then. But we have certain proposals to change the mailing lists. For now, we're kind of in an interim structure where we're just using the old structure mailing lists to communicate in a new structure. So I agree that it might seem a bit weird in some aspects, but yeah, we'll have a topic on Sunday to discuss this.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I have a second question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that one will be probably to João about the Skillshare. Because as you said, the partner was not happy with the way we actually promoted them, that after these 2-3 months, people were not extending the subscription. But will we receive the money for the registrations we already made? And for this part of time, we cooperated with them.
Yeah, just to make it clear, like they were not unhappy with the way we promoted. We actually promoted fine. They were just unhappy with the results because of that situation that let's say that they didn't affiliate many customers. That's why they were. But in any case, yes, the payments will be done. Very soon, I will contact you in December because it's when we start reaching the end of the year and probably there will not be that many activations anyways. So we will contact you about all the affiliate marketing partners that we have. So it will not just be Skillshare. It will be Skillshare if it ends, because now they suspended the payments. So, but if it ends, we will get until the moment that they suspended. Then we have other partners like Eurosender. Then we have also the Economist, and according to the national organizations who are listed in this affiliate marketing schemes, we will send a table with all the payments and with all the numbers, so you can invoice us in the end of the year, and then we regulate everything. This will be sent very, very soon because, as you know, we also need to finalize the year and need to report 2020, and I want to keep this within 2020.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Pedro. I will just ask the rest of the people both asking questions and answering to be a bit quicker, please.
Thank you very much. My question is related to Erasmus Jobs and to whoever is responsible for it. I think it's Kasper's. So I wanted to hear some some more news, and maybe I missed it on the presentation, but I want to hear some more news on how the platform is going and how's the development of the whole project going. And on that topic, I also wanted to see how in the future will it be merged or will it be combined with Erasmus interns or internship? I forgot.
Thank you for the question. No, I kind of did jump over it a bit because of the time, so I will try to give slightly more insight. So we are doing some development on Erasmus jobs. It has slowed down a bit because we do not have the third web developer who in theory is supposed to work on this, but we're working on a solution for that. The development in the context of the project is planned until summer of next year. That's also falls when the project is done. So in terms of the project, what is also going on right now is a lot of research by the other partners. So there was a research report that kind of focused on the different competencies and skills you gain and some of the things we will need to build the user experience of the platform. I apologize for the siren. And yeah, that's going to be finalized. We also just sent the interim report of the project, and in general, the coordinating national agency is quite fine with progress, so there's no issues there. So yeah, I'll have more updates starting from January on the platform itself.
Thank you very much. Claudia.
Hey, I'm Claudia, NR of ES in Spain. I have two questions for Diana. I don't know if I should do them directly. Okay, so what is your feedback regarding the online regional platforms and what do you think about them, how it went? And then I wanted to know if the MBs, we are going to have like a national track online or maybe even physically in the near or far future. And what is your opinion or your plans regarding this?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question very much. When it comes to the regional platform, it really depends which regional platform we're talking about. The online participation in events has generally not been ideal, let's say. We have had a lot of problems with people registering and then simply not showing up without any excuse, which is not very nice towards people who are organizing it. I would say that generally the regional platforms went fine, not as ideal as we expected, but we also had a bit of expectation management about how many people actually to expect there based on the number of people who registered. But I would say that they went fine. Like I said, some went a little bit better, some went a little bit less better. From the content point of view, they were fine. The participants were, the facilitators were super prepared. I think that the workshops responded to the needs of the participants. What we also try to do is not to push board topics inside, but to have them outside so that the training is for the needs of the volunteers, hoping that it also increases the engagement. So I would say that I'm personally satisfied with how it went, and I know that the coordinators were as well, even those who had less participation, because the feedback was quite nice at the end of the event. When it comes to the national boards track, this is up to the regional coordinators to decide how we'll go, because some already had national board tracks inside of the regional platforms, some did not. Because I know some have wanted to do it physically, which is completely fine to do if the circumstances allow. However, if it is not possible to do it physically, it is definitely I forgot the word, Jesus Christ, recommended to do it online in a longer period of time during a weekend or something like that. We can also play with the second national board training to see if we can do something like that as incorporated into the training, because we definitely do not want to do MBT how we did it now with the month-long workshops, but to have something more structured when it comes to the training for the national boards. I hope I answered the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before moving on, I see just two people in the speakers list. The time foreseen for this point it's over, so I propose to close the speakers list. Matteo just added, so CM Nacho, Matteo. Any objections in closing the speakers list? I cannot see any objections, so after these three people, the speakers list is closed. Thank you very much. CM, you can go ahead.
Thank you, first of all, for the presentation. I was just wondering whether it would be possible to give an update about the Ryanair partnership. Thank you.
Hey, well, about Ryanair, there was not much going on. They also lowered their activity to the extent that they can. What we have been doing with them, actually, it's a bit outside of the normal sponsorship or promotion that we do. So Ryanair, like last month, I was in contact with them. So they changed their policy officer. And one of the things that we asked from them was to actually share with us information about the safety while traveling. So we thought that it would be important to, if, for example, through our newsletter, to inform the students, since they will still be, some of them will still be doing bookings with Ryanair, to provide them with accurate information on the travel safety while being on the pandemic. When it comes to any sort of renegotiation or any sort of expectations for next year, so far we haven't discussed anything yet. They didn't bring anything. We also did not. We are still fulfilling the contract that we have. I know that Ryanair understands, and also it has the business volume to understand that the situation is not the best, so we will not be able to do maybe what they expect. But I cannot really give you updates. Usually the discussions for renewal of partnership happen around March. So maybe close to that time, I will inform you about it.
Thank you very much. Nacho.
Yes, Nacho is in Spain. This is for Costis, I think. It's also a little bit related to the Grants Lab, which I'm very happy that it's happening again. But do you have any plan to engage countries and local sections in the project CSN International is applying for in the near future?
I will pass this question to João because he is the one who actually leading the process.
Thank you, Costis. No, the thing is, this is actually something that we want to explore with the Grants Lab. So there will be then a season for us to send applications, right? Let's call this the grant season. And the same way that ESN International invites you and already invited you for certain project grants, let's say, for example, CM, or right now the one being run by ESN France Compass, which we just joined. We hope that you guys also invite us for this kind of initiative. So we hope that it's not just one-ended. So it's not just us saying to you to come, but also you building the capacity, whether you have it already before or you will build it during the Grants Lab, and then you will say, hey guys, what about joining in this initiative? Do you think that this is a nice project to do? So yeah, also one thing that is very important is that it's part of action plan, it's part of the 3-year strategy to involve you in grant applications. So if your question is that, then if your question is if you're going to be involved, well, it is already written down.
If I may add very quickly, sorry, but I misunderstood the question. I thought it was only about the Grants Lab. Yes, of course, João answered perfectly. I mean, the way that we want to involve you. I just want to mention that in the last grant that we applied for the European Parliament, I think we involved around 9 national organizations for the activities of the Conference on the Future of Europe. So we want to continue involving ESN national or local organizations in our future grants.
This is very, very positive. The last question for this speakers list, Matteo.
Thank you. Matteo, ESN Italy. A question for Costis. ESN Survey is one of our most important projects, historical projects of the network. Can you talk a little bit more about the 2021 edition? For example, the topics that will be covered, how it will work, and so on.
Yes, thank you very much, Matteo. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to elaborate during my updates about the ESN survey, but you said it very well. It's one of the most historical and important research projects that ESN has. The last edition was about the active citizenship in light of the European elections. Before that was about the students with disabilities. And now in 2021, because the ESN survey takes place every 2 years from now on, what we want to do is to create a survey with a questionnaire that is going to remain the same for the next years. We want 80% of the ESN survey to be standardized and only one chapter of the new editions of ESN survey to be unique to adapting the external priorities that every year will have. Of course, this year, this unique chapter will be related to COVID-19. So it's going to be a follow-up survey of the previous one that we had. We are going to release it in the first week of December or maybe the second one. So we really need you to be proactive, to share the questionnaire that we will share with you, send it to your national agencies, universities, and try to to make as much responses as possible. And we have managed to recruit a very nice team: Giovanni and Giuseppe from your country, from your ESN organization, of course, and then we have Salome from ESN Georgia and Evgeny from ESN Russia, which I really want to thank. And lastly, we created an advisory board this year, which will be consisted by the European Commission, International Association of Universities, EIE, and we are also waiting from UNESCO, and we have some professional researchers to help us to create a very qualitative survey, which will remain, as I said, for the next year the same.
Thank you very much to the board and to everyone who participated in this question round. We are now moving to the next point in the agenda, the last one before the lunch break, which is about the new Erasmus Plus program. While Samatia shared the presentation, I just want to comment that it's indeed very important that you guys take the opportunity of the board activity report to ask questions and so on, because now we move to only 2 GAs per year, so let's use them properly. And I'm very happy about this question round. If Kostis is ready, we can move with the updates about the new Erasmus Plus program.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if it works. No. Yes, okay, now it works.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so in this presentation, we'll talk about the novelties of the new Erasmus Plus program. We have done this presentation many times, but we think that it's very important to talk about this topic because the new Erasmus Plus program is starting and we have to be prepared. I'm not going to focus on the digitalization aspect of the new Erasmus Plus program, which is a huge block because Kaspars is the one dealing mostly with this, and he has represented ESN in many external events. He has a lot of knowledge, so he will present this in another presentation because it's a very important chapter of the new Erasmus Plus program. Now let's see. Let's start from the initial proposal that the European Commission made. I cannot change my slide. Okay, now it is. So back in 2018, the European Commission made their initial proposal for the new Erasmus Plus program, and what they said back then was that they want to double the budget of the program to reach 30 billion euros. And the current program was supposed to give opportunities for 4 million people, while the new one it's expected to give these opportunities for 12 million people. So it's actually, they want to double the budget, but to triple the beneficiaries. And we will talk later about where do we stand now when it comes to these numbers. Let's see the new flagship initiatives of the program. As you know, Erasmus Plus it goes beyond student mobility. It gives opportunity for young people in general, for schools, for vocational education and training, adult learning, and many others. One of the most important initiatives that will be added in the program is the European universities. This I elaborated a little bit before in my updates, but basically what the European Commission wants to do is to create an alliance of universities. So imagine that we have an alliance with universities from Spain, Serbia, Italy, and so on. And students from those universities, they can take classes and they can continue their studies to any of the other universities that they are part of those alliances. And in the end, those students, they can receive a European degree. So they are not going to receive only the degree from their universities. This is a huge initiative, and the European Commission has launched a pilot project. And now we have 41 alliances, which includes around 280 higher European education institutions. And ESN International is involved in many of those alliances, and we have actually many sections being active part of those alliances. Another very big initiative that will be, so yeah, here you will see the number of the alliances. As I said, 41 alliances, 280 institutions. Another very big initiative that will be probably added in the new program is the Discovery EU. This is an initiative that already has started last year. It's again a pilot now, but they want to include it in the new one, in the new program. The idea is to give the people, the students who are graduating from high school, so those who are turning 18 years old, to give them a free Interrail pass to travel around Europe and discover the cultural heritage of Europe, to have more experiences and so on. So they want to give the opportunity for 18 years old to experience the European feeling. This requires a lot of budget, and ESN is afraid that if we don't have enough increase in the budget of the New Erasmus program in general, this initiative won't be qualitative enough. But we are waiting so far to see what will happen from the side of the institutions. Some more details about the Discovery EU. As I said, it's a free Interrail pass for 18 years old, so they can travel up to 7 countries, up to 30 days. So it can be from 30 days to, from 3 or 4 days up to 30. And so far, there are 70,000 travelers that they have been benefited by Discovery EU. If this becomes part of the New Erasmus+ program, then this number will be increased a lot. Another initiative is the Erasmus+ Virtual Exchange. This is a platform that provides virtual opportunities for young people and students. So you don't have to be actually a student to be part of this. This is focusing mostly to connect students from Europe with students and young people from the South Mediterranean region. I think it started in 2018, and now the Commission is thinking to include this Erasmus+ Virtual Exchange in the new Erasmus+ program, which we believe that it's a very nice initiative and actually showcases that this is something different. It's not a mobility, it's a totally different thing. And if we have this in the new Erasmus program, it makes it clear that it's not about virtual mobility. Virtual mobility is not actually a mobility, but Erasmus+ Virtual Exchange is something different, and it's actually good when it comes to the internationalization of higher education. Then when it comes to the new priorities of the Erasmus+ program, there are some, so the Commission is calling them horizontal priorities. This is basically the priorities that apply to every sector of the new Erasmus+ program. So it's not only for higher education, but also school, VT, adult learning, and so on. And those priorities, you can see them here. So the program to become more inclusive and accessible, more digital and simpler, more sustainable. So they have this strategy that they call it Green Erasmus strategy. And of course, to make it more international. By more international, we mean basically giving opportunities for Europeans to do their Erasmus for outside Europe in every country around the world, and vice versa for students all around the world to come to Europe and study in one of the Erasmus+ countries. Moving on. Something that is very, very important and relevant for us in ESN is that the new Erasmus+ program will include new types of mobilities. So from now on, we won't have only the types that we know right now. So students going for studies for 3 months up to 12 months, or trainees from 2 months up to 12 months, but we'll have different modalities, as for example, the short-term mobilities, which is only for PhD students. So PhD students, they will have the opportunity to go on Erasmus from 5 days to 30 days. And this is mostly because PhD students, when they go abroad, they go mostly for research. So they don't want to follow courses. And doing a research in 1 month, it will make this, they will make Erasmus+ more flexible for PhD students. And then when it comes to blended mobilities, this is a new type, which is for every level of education. It can be bachelor, master, or PhD. And let me explain to you in the new slide what blended mobilities is all about. Blended mobilities combination between a physical mobility, a short-term physical mobility, with a virtual component. And it has two different, let's say, modalities. One is the individual blended mobility. In this case, a student has the opportunity to register in a course that is offered by multiple universities. The student can follow the course initially online for, I don't know, 1 or 2 months, and then to go abroad to have his or her Erasmus physically in another country from 5 days up to 30 days. And then when the student finishes the physical mobility, then the student returns back to his or her home country, and they continue online. So this is the first option. And the second option is the blending intensive programs. This is a course specifically designed by minimum 3 universities. And it's not the usual courses that we have, let's say, used in our university. So it's not about students watching a lecture from a professor in 1 hour or whatever. This is mostly collaborative. So people come together and they discuss a certain matter, and they create projects all together. So they have a societal problem and they tackling this problem. It can be climate change, it can be whatever. The difference between the previous blended mobility type that I showed you is that, as I said, this is a group activity. It can, let's say the limit is three countries. The less that they can be part of this blended mobility types is 3 countries, up to as many countries the university decides. The students, they start online, and then when the time comes, they go physically on Erasmus in another country, and this time they meet all together. So if a course has 15 or 20 students, they all together go to the host country to do their Erasmus for 5 to 30 days. Then they come back and they continue virtually. The reason why the Commission proposed these new types of mobilities is to make the program more inclusive. For example, there are many students that while they are studying, they are also working. So those students, the working students, they cannot drop their job to go on Erasmus for 6 months because they really depend on the salary. But maybe they can go on Erasmus for 5 months, for 5 days or 10 days, and that's okay for them. Also, there are some other students that they are structurally excluded by the Erasmus Plus. So students that they do professions that need to be regulated by the country, and sometimes the recognition is much more difficult for those students. But in general, the idea is to provide more opportunities for students to go on Erasmus. And those short-term or blended mobilities most probably will give the opportunity for students to do another Erasmus later on, a long one, because you know that students, they are very reluctant to go because they're afraid. But if they try a short-term mobility, maybe they will like it, and then they will go for a long-term mobility. Now let's see where are we when it comes to the Erasmus Plus negotiations. As I said, the Commission proposed 30 billion euros. Unfortunately, this was not accepted by the member states, and I will explain to you here. So the Commission actually made a second proposal after the whole COVID-19 pandemic and the whole economic recession. And this time they proposed 24.6 billion euros, which is, I have to clarify that the 30 billion euros that the Commission proposed, it was in 2018 numbers. So if we take this number now in 2020, this 30 billion euros equals around 27 billion, something like that. And instead of proposing 27, they proposed 24.6, which is less from what they said. And then the European Parliament is proposing to triple the Erasmus Plus budget, and the Council of the EU, and by Council of the EU, we mean here the member states, your governments, the 27 governments of the European Union. So they don't want to give more money to the Erasmus Plus, so they actually stick to the 21.2 billion euros. Very recently, the European Parliament and the European and the presidency of the Council of the EU, they reached an agreement to increase a little bit the budget. So from 21.2, it became around 23 billion euros. But the institutions, they are still need to take the final decision. So what we are waiting right now is for the 27 EU member states to come together and agree on the new budgets. It's not only the budget of the Erasmus+ program, it's the whole budget of the European Union that they have to decide. And while they have agreed on Erasmus+, they have disagreements on other aspects of the EU budget, which I'm not going to focus now. And it seems that we will be very late to have an agreement. So most probably the program won't start in January 2021, but it will be delayed. So maybe March, April, nobody knows right now. So we are still waiting. And that's when it comes to the information that I wanted to give you. You know that we are advocating for a stronger budget, either through the Erasmus 500 or the general advocacy that we are doing. And yeah, we're very hopeful to see a nice outcome in the future. And to remember that the current budget is 14.7 billion euros for the current Erasmus+. So even if we have 23 billion euros, this is a huge increase compared to the current budget. And we should be very glad, let's say, to see this kind of increase. And that's that from my side. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to address them.
Thank you very much, Kostis. Indeed, very, very interesting. The speakers list is open. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. Again, go to participants. There is the list, and there you find the option to raise the hand. Matthias, go ahead.
Hello, Kostis. Matthias from ESN Hungary. I have a question about the blended mobility. Is this going to be a continuous thing in the future, or is this only for this pandemic situation?
Very good question. It's going to be actually a continuous thing. So it's going to be in the new Erasmus+ program for the 7 years until 2027. The way that blended mobility works now during the pandemic, it's not the same as the blended mobility as I just described, right? So now the students, they had the opportunity to start their mobility online, and when the circumstances will be better, to go on the host country. But there is no this limitation of 5 days or 30 days, and there is no this new innovative element of collaborative learning and all this kind of stuff. So in the new program, the blended mobilities will be actually much better compared to what you see nowadays. And it's important to keep in mind that blended mobilities will be on top of the long-term traditional mobilities that we know already. So they are not going to replace long-term mobilities, right? I hope I covered your question.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Yes. Hi, Kostis. Thank you for your presentation. I just have a question about the non-EU countries again. So are there any changes that I should be aware of about the cooperation between universities and such things?
Yes, very good question. Actually, we have some very positive news. So the European Commission released on the 30th of September a new communication, which is called the European Education Area. And in this communication, they mention that they want to bring all the Western Balkan countries in the Erasmus+ program. So the same as Serbia or North Macedonia, they are a program country. They want to do the same for the rest of the Western Balkan countries, which we believe that it's a very big opportunity for the Erasmus generation in general. However, there are some tricky parts that we have to pay attention. That's why we're in contact with ESN Serbia and other countries to make sure that this will be done in a sustainable way. On top of that, the Commission wants to give 20% of, they want to give to the EU, they want to give the opportunity for higher education institutions in the 34 Erasmus+ program countries to use 20% of their budget to allocate it for students from non-EU countries. on top of the international credit mobility that exists already. And for those that they don't know, international credit mobility is the part that gives opportunity for non-EU countries to be part of the Erasmus Plus program. So actually the funding for non-EU countries will be much more compared to what is now. And we're very happy when it comes to this direction.
Thank you very much. Lisa, you don't have other questions, right? So it's just the hand there. Okay, Giovanni.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a question on the negotiation. In the last few months, you had a very long campaign related to the Erasmus 500 campaign. And I wanted to know on behalf of ESN Italy, if you had any feedbacks from the EU institution on the campaign. What do they think? Do they consider this campaign as a valuable option or not?
Yeah, thank you, Giovanni. We had a meeting with the Vice President of the European Commission like last week, or it was this week, I don't remember. And he mentioned that this proposal is now being discussed in the top of the hierarchy of the European Commission, because there are some people that they really like it, and there are some others that they are against it. I think this is maybe one of the few times that ESN, of course, together with the ESU and EUF, brought a proposal actually to be adopted by the European Commission. Maybe in the end it won't be adopted, but still we are very close to see what is happening. We also have some members of the European Parliament who posed questions directly to the European Commission about the Erasmus 500. This is a very positive, because we see that the outcomes of ESN's advocacy. However, to be honest, I'm not optimistic, because for the Erasmus 500 to be adopted, we were expecting a much higher Erasmus Plus budget. So with the 23 point something billions that we have now, we don't believe that it's enough to have 500 euros as a baseline for all the Erasmus students without limiting the number of mobilities. So yeah, that's the information that we have currently, and we're still waiting to see what's happening.
Thank you, Kostis. Since we don't have anyone in the speakers list, I would just ask a question myself to ask you to elaborate a bit more. Like regarding these, could you please elaborate a bit whether, like, it's very important that we ESN advocate for the more budget. We have been doing this for a long time. But now, of course, I think it's important to clarify whether this budget is going. If it's going to more people participating in the program, or is it going to higher grants or uniforming grants for the 500 options? This is also maybe a second level discussion. I know it's very technical, but I think it's also very important for the countries to know what to advocate for.
Yes, that's actually a very nice question, which no one has the answer right now. It goes like this. First, we have to, the institutions, they have to approve the overall budget of the European Union. Then they agree on the overall budget of the Erasmus Plus. And once they have agreed this, then a second round of negotiation starts between the different sectors of the Erasmus Plus. So the higher education sector will fight with the youth sector, with the VT sector. So higher education will ask for more money, youth will ask for more money and stuff like that. But we don't know unless we have the final budget. What ESN is actually advocating is that if they want to add all these initiatives that I just said, the European University Alliances, Discovery EU, Erasmus Plus Virtual Exchange, then we won't have the necessary budget to make the Erasmus Plus program that we have right now more inclusive or sustainable as it is compared to the current one. And what we are actually trying to convince the European Commission, and here this is a red line for us, to not reduce the long-term mobility. So the current program has 20 million, gave the opportunity for 20 million students to go abroad. And we want the new program to give, to increase this number of long-term mobilities. And on top of that, to provide blended mobility opportunities for students. Yeah, in general, this is a debate that will involve ourselves once we have the agreement of the new budget. So brace yourselves, because we have to do some advocacy there.
Thank you very much. I think this was very important to clarify. Matteo.
Yes, Matteo, ESN Italy. About the initiative of the European universities that we highlighted in the past, we talked a lot about it in the last months. Do you already envision specific initiatives that, for example, the ESN sections that are part of some alliances could or should structure? And in other words, like, how do you think ESN will concretely tackle this new kind of collaborations?
Yes, thank you, Matteo. One of the main elements of the European Universities Initiative is to make mobility much more simple within the alliances. And there is the objective for the alliances in the future to have 50% of their students to be mobile. This is a very, very optimistic, let's say, target. If we consider that the European Education, the Education Training Monitor has a target of 20% until 2020. Now, when it comes to the specific initiatives that ESN sections can do within the European University Alliances, this actually is something that the sections themselves, they have to find out, because every alliance and every university, they have their own priorities, they have their own projects, their own initiatives. So ESN International, it's impossible to know what is happening in 41 alliances in 280 institutions. So we always urge the national organizations to support the sections, and we also support the sections. For example, Joanna is the liaison officer for quality education, and he has created a guide to give more information. And ESN International, together with ESU, is always present in the European meetings that the Commission is creating for the European University Alliances. I think that the sections have to they have to focus on how they can make mobility within their universities much more simple, and how they can offer the opportunities that ESN is anyway offering to the international students that they are being part of the alliances. So I think the sections, they have to focus on social Erasmus, they have to focus on buddy system, they have to focus on these core initiatives that ESN has and make them implementable in the context of the European universities.
Thank you very much. Ian, ESN Belgium.
Yes, thank you. Besides blended mobility, we have also been speaking about virtual mobility and the fact that it's not really mobility. Can ESN play a role in virtual mobility? And if yes, what would the role be in future for ESN?
Yes, thank you, CM. So what we are trying actually to advocate now as ESN International, but then also with, of course, you, the member organizations, is to make sure that the virtual learning, online learning in general, is not going to replace physical mobility. We say that online learning, it can work complementary to physical mobility, it can enhance physical mobility, and can provide more opportunities. But we refrain from using the term virtual mobility, because by using this term, it's like we are saying that, yes, you can do it virtually and it's the same thing. So we are trying to not use this word. And many higher education institutions, the European Commission and other organizations, they really agree with us. That's why in the new Erasmus Plus program, you won't find the terminology virtual mobility. You won't find anything related to that when it comes to higher education. They either use blended mobility or virtual exchange, as I showed to you. Now, the question is, what ESN can do in the online part of the mobility of the students? It's actually a lot. I think that we as ESN and our local sections, they have to start preparing the students before they go for the physical mobility. So during the online part, when they are still in their home country, the ESN sections can engage with them and prepare them to be ready when they go to another country to meet another local ESN section there. So these blended mobility types will give the opportunity for intersection cooperation much more in the future as it is right now. And of course, many other things which we'll have to explore all together in the next months.
Thank you very much, Kostis. CM, do you have another question, or we just still have your hands up?
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
No problem. I don't see anyone in the speakers list. So I officially propose to close the speakers list. No objections, then the speakers list is closed. Thank you very much, Kostis, for the presentation and this question round. We're now going for the lunch. Before going to lunch, I just want to say, please rename yourself as we said. So first ESN country and then your name, or ESN body and then your name. And if possible, please don't leave the call. Of course, if you have to, because your laptop is burning, then okay. But otherwise, please mute your microphone and mute your camera and just go for your lunch break, because otherwise we will need to accept you again if you join the call after lunch. We'll meet at 2:45 p.m. Central European time, so almost an hour and a half for lunch break. Please try to take advantage of it if you can. If you're not locked down, also go for a walk, take some fresh air, because we will have a full afternoon of small sessions and plenary points in the agenda. Thank you very much. And Laurie, do you have anything to say about Discord or no? No, perfect. So feel free to join Discord platform during the lunch break. It will be open. Otherwise, see you here at 2:45 Central European time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I add something? The live stream will stop until the end of the small sessions. So if you're watching from the live stream, know that we will continue back then.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that.